Media Group and River 92.7 are bringing you all home Oahe Zap games all season long. Tune in on the radio, listen on the app, or watch live on drgnews.com. Now, let's send it to the broadcast booth for some Oahe Zap baseball.
And a good afternoon and a hello, everybody. It is a hot one out here at Hyde Stadium here this afternoon. We welcome you into our air-conditioned broadcast booth that myself and Dylan Beach are thrilled to be in here today. I think temps are going to reach up around high to mid-90 degrees this afternoon. Perfect temperatures for some baseball if you can find some shade. Get yourself a beer bucket, get settled in. The Oahe Zap are welcoming in the Spearfish Sasquatch. Hello, everybody. Justin Coward alongside Dylan Beach here for this afternoon game here for the Oahe Zap Game 2 of this 4-game homestand for the Zap before they go on the road. Not too far from here, heading out to Spearfish for 3 over the weekend. We're so happy to have you with us here for tonight's broadcast. Tough game yesterday for the Oahe Zap. They go down 15-3 to the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch just had everything clicking for them yesterday afternoon. And Dylan, we're hoping for a little bit of a different outcome here today.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to forget and move on from games like that. I was talking to the owner before the game, and he was like, we got to forget about that one. And I said, what game?
There you go. And that's what the Zap are going to try to do here this afternoon. Quick recap of yesterday afternoon for you. The Zap got things going early. It was a Vince Palizzi 2-run shot that really got the crowd into yesterday afternoon's ball game. And felt like things were going to be smooth sailing from there. You know, we kind of called it on the broadcast there. Maybe we'll have to try to do that again here this afternoon. But Vince Palizzi getting the bat going early yesterday. Got the Zap out in front 2-0. The Sasquatch came back with an answer in the top of the second inning. But Aiden Johnson hit a home run of his own. That was the only 3 runs that the Zap would score yesterday afternoon. But it was good to see a couple guys going deep here at home.
Yeah, that was Aiden Johnson's first career home run in college. He pitches primarily for his college, didn't get one last summer for the Zap, and off the tally mark, he was close at opening day at home, but that one was no doubt about that one.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And then the Sasquatch really got the bats going. We saw a couple home runs from them, including one from Lucas Torelli, who sent a line shot over the right field wall. Sam Napnoski also hitting a home run yesterday for the Sasquatch, and Peyton Fort, who had been ripping the laces off the baseball with the bat lately, continued to do that yesterday. So let's talk about today's game and what the Zap can do to win this afternoon and split this series up at 1 game apiece. They're going to have to get some offense going, and the pitching looked decent yesterday. We got A.J. Ponciano on the mound. We'll get to starting lineups here in a moment, but Dylan, I'm interested to hear your keys to success. You've seen this team on the road. You've seen them in some wins. You've seen them in some losses. We've seen 2 wins from the Zap here against the Fremont Moo. We've seen 1 loss at home, so their home record sits at 2-1. Their overall record sits at 4-8. The Sasquatch went above 500 at 7-6 with their win yesterday. But I'm curious to hear from you. You've seen wins, you've seen losses. What do we need to see out of the Zap today to put them back in the win column?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to have to go back to how I was kind of talking before that Fremont Moo series. You got to play some small ball. You're not going to be the Bronx Bombers. Try to be the pure place hitters. Hit it where they're not at. Try to play some small ball, get the walks, get on base, because when we see this team explode on offense, it's not through the home run, not through the long ball. And then for the pitching side, you got to be efficient. Again, throwing those first pitch strikes, then getting out of those loaded pitcher counts.
The pure place hitters, I like that. That was when did you think of that one?
Last night on the broadcast.
There we go. All right. Well, we had to wait until today because the Zap, they fell behind pretty early, and they weren't able to muster enough hits or any offense, really, to get things back in the right direction. But this is an offense that can, like you said, get things going in a hurry, but they have to be patient at the plate. We saw that against Fremont. Yes, they took a lot of pitches and got a lot of hit batsmen on base, but they were patient. They let them move, throw balls, and they let them get themselves on base, and I think we need to see some more of that again here tonight. It's going to be kind of the same thing that we saw yesterday. The Sasquatch pitching staff is going to throw strikes, but when they do throw balls, you got to be patient in the batter's box and try to let them and allow yourselves to get on base with some free passes.
Yeah, and by no means am I trying to take away or discredit the power that some of these Zap bats have, but when we've seen them really blow up and have those bases clearing doubles, it's not because we're just continuing to just get these extra base hits. It's when the team is drawing walks, getting the bases loaded, and then seeing those pitches that you can really punish the other team for. In the last couple of games, we just haven't really seen that. So just trying to see some more pitches. Maybe you get that one that you can really crush up the middle.
Absolutely. And down there trading lineup cards is Justice Scott and Jamie Habiger, the two coaches for these opposing squads. But back to the game today and kind of what we want to see out of the Oahe Zap. Going to the defensive side, we saw some good plays out in the field yesterday, but we also saw some blunders that didn't necessarily cost them the game. I think the Sasquatch did that themselves with their hitting. But there were some plays that continued and elongated some of the jams that the Zap put themselves in. So we got to see some cleanup on defense here this afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of just uncharacteristic mistakes. I mean, had a couple of plays where they went to turn 2, got nobody. I remember the Van de Wastein, he tried to throw it before he had it in his glove. And those are just kind of mistakes that this defense hasn't really been making here recently. And that's why it was kind of so surprising to see those yesterday.
Absolutely. We're about 4 minutes away from first pitch here, and Habiger and Scott have left our two umpires, who are going to be the two same guys from yesterday afternoon. And you had a little interesting tidbit about our home plate umpire here this afternoon that you were telling us a little bit about yesterday, but I would love for you to tell the viewers why this game might be a little bit longer here this afternoon.
Yeah, we saw Richard Gilmore in games 1 and 3 of the Casper series, and we'll say he just wants to make sure he's getting the call right, because he's going to take his time to make those balls and strikes. It might be the ball's thrown back to the pitcher before you see him kind of stick that hand out, indicate it's a strike, but we'll see if he sped it up any tonight. I'm going to have to bite my tongue a little bit because he might be wearing a GoPro for us in the future.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they can get that get that a little sped up, especially on a hot day here this afternoon in central South Dakota. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to the starting lineups here this afternoon. We're going to get you set for first pitch. We're going to have our national anthem. We'll get this game between the Zap and the Sasquatch underway. You're listening to the pregame show live here on River 92.7. We got the Zap and the Sasquatch coming up next right here.
The summer is here, and you know what that means. The Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night. So get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River 92.7 Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group. Attention, all kids from 4 to 11 years old. Don't miss the Kids Pedal Tractor Pull this Saturday, part of the Old Settlers Day celebration in Highmore. This is a sanctioned event with separate divisions for boys and girls, and the winners of each age group will be eligible for the state pull. So please join us Saturday for the Kids Pedal Tractor Pull in Highmore. Free registration begins at 12:30 in front of Vilas Healthcare. Pulling starts at 1 p.m. Proudly sponsored by Titan Machinery.
Here at the DRG Media Group, we know free, over-the-air radio works to get the word out. But we also know these days people consume information at different times of day and through a variety of different platforms. DRG Media Group's AM and FM radio stations, drgnews.com website, and DRG News mobile app provide local news, sports, weather, area high school athletic events, music and entertainment news, and more. And thanks to our advertisers, it's available to you for free. But we want you to share information with us, too. By using the Contact Us feature on the drgnews.com website or the DRG News mobile app, you can send us a request for advertising information, a news or sports item, a weather cancellation, and more. Fill in your information, select which type of inquiry you have, provide the relevant details, then click Submit. We make qualifying information available to the public using our various DRG Media Group platforms.
Welcome back here to Hyde Stadium. We are getting set for first pitch. They're introducing both starting lineups down on the field. It's now a perfect time to introduce you to who's going to be in the field, who's going to be batting in order, and who's going to be starting on the mound for both of these squads this afternoon. Again, I'm Justin Coward alongside Dylan Beach. We've got our producer, director, engineer extraordinaire, Eli Lewis, in the booth with us. As always, we'll start with the visiting team, the Spearfish Sasquatch, and their starting lineup today. It'll be from top to bottom. hitting 1 through 9. Nick Work playing third base here for the Squatch this afternoon. Carson Rather catching in behind the dish today, batting second. Batting third, the tall and lanky Kyle Finn playing center field this afternoon. Designated hitter Jordan Bowman will be in the 4 spot today. Hitting fifth, Sam Nopnoski. He hit a couple big shots yesterday, including one that left the ballpark, and we'll be interested to see if there's any bad blood between the Zap and Nopnoski after he watched that thing for as long as he did yesterday in a blowout game. Chase Scott will be playing first, and will be hitting sixth. Hitting seventh, Peyton Fort, who had a great day and has had a great couple weeks with the Sasquatch lately. Hitting eighth is Ben Foyer playing shortstop, and Isaac Martinez playing left and batting in the 9-hole. For the Oahe Zap, it'll be Andrew Phillips playing center, Aiden Johnson at third, Ty Farwell at first base. DHing is Vince Polizzi, hoping he can get some of that home run magic that he had yesterday in today. Mason Lang will be behind the dish. Connor Goldberg playing in right field. Trey Runge playing second base. And fan favorite Naruto Saito playing shortstop, batting eighth. Emiliano Curiel will be playing in left. It'll be Caleb Hoppy on the mound for the Sasquatch. AJ Ponciano on the mound for the Zap. Zap are in their beautiful-looking white jerseys with some dirt-stained white pants here this afternoon. Zap across the chest, blue caps, and OZ on the top of the caps. And the Sasquatch in their grays tops, gray bottoms. And they're probably pretty glad they chose to wear black yesterday afternoon. It's as hot as it is here today, Dylan. And we're getting set for our national anthem, so we'll step away. It'll be Jeff Adele, the PA announcer, who will be singing it for us this afternoon. So we're going to take our headsets off, and we're going to listen to our nation's anthem here on River 92.7. A beautiful rendition of the national anthem by Jeff Adele, and we are set for some baseball here this afternoon. And we've got our owners and co-owners. She's given me the thumbs up. Jamie Habiger's wife, like I sang the national anthem, saying great job. Was not me, Ms. Habiger. That was Jeff Adele in the other box.
I think she just realized because Alex told her and she started laughing.
Over there, Ms. Habiger, over that way. We do not have pipes to be singing. You do not want us getting the microphone to sing our national anthem. Perfect day for some baseball. We had a couple of theatrics with some of the great boys in blue and black from the Pier PD office out behind left field. Not sure what that was all about earlier this afternoon. I think they just wanted to get here early and get some sights and eyes on Heinz Stadium for some Zap baseball this afternoon.
They might have just been cooling off in the creek over there.
Maybe so. It's a hot one today. That's a great point, Dylan. We're going to pull up the weather app and see what the temperature is as of right now. It's currently sitting at 92, might even get up to 93 here today. So the Zap and Sasquatch, they planned accordingly. Their uniforms look closely similar. The Zap, like I mentioned, are in white, the Squatch in gray. But they wore their black tops yesterday, did the Sasquatch, and I think they're glad that they left those back at the hotel here this afternoon. As we mentioned, AJ Ponciano on the bump. What can we expect from AJ here this afternoon, Dylan?
Yeah, not sure how long of an outing it'll be. I've been hearing murmurs from the staff, mainly Katie Acosta, that they might let him rip out there a little bit let him go a bit deeper. He's been going about 2, maybe 3 innings. He's kind of been an opener for a bullpen day, but when you're playing this many games and this short of a time period, they might let him try to go a bit deeper into this one.
Absolutely, and especially if it's a close game. You know, it's a very tough chess match that Jamie Habiger has to play with that bullpen and those rotation arms, because you've got 7 days and about a 7-day stretch, and you're in the early part of this season. If a game gets away from you, do you keep a guy out there, try to spread out those innings and save those arms for a closer contest, or do you try to keep a guy who's been pitching well in a ball game in for a couple more innings because he's in his rhythm and because he's going well? It's kind of an interesting play, the way that Jamie Habiger has to play it at this point in the season.
Yeah, and at this point when you're not going to have reinforcements for a while, you kind of got to work with what you have, and you only got 4 kind of prototypical starters in this team, and even Ponciano doesn't go very deep for a starter, so you got 3 guys who might go more than 3 innings.
Or you might go deep into the bag and pull Cole Ottersberg out of the utility rotation and throw him out on the mound. Ponciano is set. Richard Gilmore's got his right hand up. Stepping into the box is Nick Work. And we are set for some baseball. We appreciate you listening to the pregame show. And now for the ball game. As Ponciano comes set with that left foot out in front of his right foot, he wheels, he deals, and this one is fouled right back our way. And we could hear that one hit off the top of the roof of our broadcast booth. That's a good start for Ponciano. Strike 1. Count runs 0-1. Here for Nick Work. Work will be playing third base here this afternoon for the Sasquatch. Zap are shading him more towards the left side of the infield as he takes a strike right down the middle. Good off-speed pitch from Ponciano. Fell right into the zone, and quickly 0-2 to Work.
This is a fast strike call.
Yeah, he must have gotten the word that he was belaboring those strike calls a bit back in Casper. Here comes the 0-2 from Ponciano. That one's ripped to the third base side and caught on the fly. Beautiful play there by Aiden Johnson, who went deep yesterday, and the Zap's still working on that fling around the diamond there. That one got Dylan Beach a little happy to see that one. They're just excited to be out there. They got it all the way to second base, but Trey Runge couldn't get it back to Johnson. A little bit too high for Aiden Johnson there.
It was just the combo of Aiden Johnson just making that spectacular play at third base and then the throw back over to him, having to jump and missing it.
Listen, if you do it when it's a dead ball, that's one thing. Just don't do it when it's live. That's one out quickly here for Ponciano. And that'll bring up Carson Rather to the plate. He'll be behind the dish this afternoon. Nice stop there by Mason Lang, who's catching today for the Zap. Tell you what, Ty Farwell, usually when you see his name in the lineup, you believe he's going to be behind the plate, but today playing first base, I think it's his bat that has been keeping him out there in the starting 9.
Yeah, and we've seen him at third a couple of times, but I think it's his first time playing first this year.
See how he does over there. Big, long kid is Ty Farwell, so able to get to a lot of throws as this one catches the outside corner for a strike. The count runs 1-1. You know, it may take a while for Richard Gilmore to signal strike, but you can always tell when he calls a strike. His whole chest plate and his shoulder pads that they wear behind the plate, do the umpires, they all move. So you can tell when he shouts out for a strike. Not as animated when there's a ball. That one misses down and in for ball 2.
Well, you're talking about how like Esteban Baca and Bryce Van de Wassein are animated pitchers. He might be an animated umpire.
Well, he likes to have fun out there. He
was dancing in Casper.
He sure, yeah. That we went back and watched some of that game, and you could see him getting his moves on. Ponciano's set for the 2-1 pitch. That one curves in there for strike 2. So Ponciano finding the zone here early. Count it 2-2. 1 out, nobody on. And now Alex Sheets, the general manager, has already got the lights on. You know, that was a bit of a concern yesterday as that ball game ran late. They didn't have the lights on. It was getting a little dark over Hyde Stadium. This one misses down in the dirt. Count runs full.
Don't think we're going to need him for a while. But
we won't need him for a while, but if the game kind of stretches out like it did yesterday, about just under 3 hours of game time yesterday. By my calculations, it was 2 hours and a 56-minute game. And it was only exciting for Zap fans for about an eighth of that. That one misses down and in. Ponciano kicking some dirt on the mound, and that'll put the first Sasquatch runner on, and there goes the perfect game.
Already, man. Hate when that happens, but what I kind of noticed about that play, Mason Lang giving him the calm down, like, you're good, it's early, get those out of your system, get back out there and attack this next batter.
Got 9 innings of baseball, and now you get a double play opportunity. That'll bring up the tall and powerful Kyle Finn. Finn standing tall in the right-handed batter's box. Stands 6'7", does Kyle Finn. As he catches the outside corner, does Ponciano with a fastball for strike one. And maybe the wildest thing about Kyle Finn standing 6'7" is he's not even the tallest Sasquatch player on their roster. I'll let Dylan get to that here in a moment after Ponciano brings the 0-1 pitch. Dancing over on first base is Carson Rather. This one driven hard into right field. Back in tracking is Goldberg. He puts his hand up. That goes over his head, bounces off the wall. Rather had to wait to see if Goldberg was going to make the play, and now Rather has to throw on the brakes at third base. Looked like possibly a catchable ball, but a tough play for Connor Goldberg out there in right field to make. And now with one out, the Sasquatch have runners on second and third.
Yeah, Goldberg was chasing after. I was scared for a minute that one was going to creep up over the wall like last night, but stays in the park, and that may be a bit unlucky they didn't send him there. I thought it was going to be close, but he put on the stoplight pretty late there.
Well, with one out and the way that the Sasquatch have been hitting in this series, granted it is early, you probably don't want to run into too many outs. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Jordan Bowman. Talk about a guy who can put a charge into a baseball. Jordan Bowman is a big kid. He takes ball one up and in.
Yeah, Bowman 6'5", 250 would be tied for the tallest player on the Zap as well.
Here comes the pitch from Ponciano. That one misses down low.
They really did take the Sasquatch name to heart. They recruited some tall baseball players to this team.
They have got some kids with not only some height, but some girth to them, too. They got some big kids down in that dugout. Here comes the 2-0 to Bowman. As he rips this one into left field, chasing over is Curiel. He's going to camp under it, make the play. The runner's going to come in and score for the Sasquatch, so they're on the board early, but a nice play there by Emiliano Curiel in left field. Carson Rather was the Sasquatch to score, but that'll bring up the second out. Now a runner only on second base. That's Kyle Finn, and gives way to Sam Napnoski. Napnoski hit a ball over the right field fence yesterday, and he didn't start moving out of the left-handed batter's box until that ball was well and clear over the fence. He watched that one for all it was worth, and I don't think the Zap were meaning to, but the next Squatch player got hit.
Especially since it was a curveball from the second baseman, Ottersberg.
Yeah, usually when you're trying to send a message, you're not throwing a curveball. It's usually a fastball with a little bit of juice behind it. So I don't think Ottersberg was intentionally meaning to hit, but he really made us wonder with the timing of it. Here's the 1-0 coming from Ponciano. A long look over to Finn at second base. Finds the strike zone for strike one.
And I got to talk to Cole a bit after the game because I went up to him and I was like, do you pitch, ever? And we saw the game last year where he pitched at Casper for 105 pitches, and I was like, what happened? And he was like, our team was leaving. I was one of the only guys left.
That's one of the interesting things about the ILB is this one's grounded sharply foul down the first base line. Is these guys are college players. They come to really kind of craft their game, continue to play over the summer, not get stale, and stay loose, stay sharp, stay in shape. But at some point they got to leave, and that puts the coaches and the coaching staff in a really interesting predicament. Tell you what, if I threw 105 pitches, my arm would still be sore. 1-2 count, 2 outs. There's a pitch to Napnoski. Softly grounded first play for Ty Farwell. At first he tosses to Ponciano, and they get out of the jam. But the Sasquatch score one. Rather comes in on a sacrifice fly after one half of the first inning. It's 1-0 Spearfish. Zap coming up after this.
Attention, all kids from 4 to 11 years old. Don't miss the Kids Pedal Tractor Pull this Saturday, part of the Old Settlers Day celebration in Highmore. This is a sanctioned event with separate divisions for boys and girls, and the winners of each age group will be eligible for the state pull. So please join us Saturday for the Kids Pedal Tractor Pull in Highmore. Free registration begins at 12:30 in front of Vilas Healthcare. Pulling starts at 1 p.m. Proudly sponsored by Titan Machinery.
Here at the DRG Media Group, we know free, over-the-air radio works to get the word out. But we also know these days people consume information at different times of day and through a variety of different platforms. DRG Media Group's AM and FM radio stations, drgnews.com website, and DRG News mobile app provide local news, sports, weather, area high school athletic events, music and entertainment news, and more. And thanks to our advertisers, it's available to you for free. But we want you to share information with us, too. By using the Contact Us feature on the drgnews.com website or the DRG News mobile app, you can send us a request for advertising information, a news or sports item, a weather cancellation, and more. Fill in your information, select which type of inquiry you have, provide the relevant details, then click Submit. We make qualifying information available to the public using our various DRG Media Group platforms.
1-0 Squatch here at Hyde Stadium as we head to the bottom of the first. Zap coming up. A little bit of a jam there. Got out by A.J. Ponciano. He had a runner on second. It was Kyle Finn. And, after yesterday and the way that the Sasquatch hit the baseball, I got to imagine that Ponciano's pretty pleased getting out of that inning, just giving up the one run on the one hit.
Yeah, and already some promising signs. He was getting out ahead in the counts, and, when you got this many days with this many games, you're going to have to work fast.
Absolutely. On the mound for the Sasquatch is Caleb Hoppy. Hoppy, another tall Sasquatch player. Had Dylan doing some research. He probably didn't expect to be doing here in a Zap game. He was looking up the height of a Sasquatch. And tell us what you found, Dylan.
Anywhere from 6 to 15 feet, which is where just
that
about the whole roster
range,
falls in there.
Andrew Phillips leading off today for the Zap. He's playing in center, and he takes ball one. A little bit of chin music there from Hoppy.
Love to see a 15-foot tall baseball player on the Sasquatch, though.
Well, I think you can make one in MLB The Show. They let you do about just anything on that ball game. Hoppy set. Tall right-handed pitcher fires in a strike. Catches the top of the zone to Andrew Phillips. Zapper looking for patience today on this hot afternoon at Hyde Stadium. No wind. That flag is sitting still out in right center field. I think this is one of the couple days that you would wish for wind as Phillips takes strike two on the bottom half of the zone. He gives a little head nod. Didn't agree with Richard Gilmore's call there. Here comes the 1-2. That one misses out and away for ball two. Hoppy's got a very baseball-like approach when he pitches. You just get some of these players that just look like baseball players, and he's got the stereotypical delivery. Very straightforward, high leg kick with his left leg. As this one's driven the other way, going to catch a short hop to Ben Foyer, but he plays it cleanly, and Phillips almost legs it out at first, but he is thrown out by a half a step. Nice play there by Ben Foyer, playing an awkward hop nicely.
And going back to Hoppy, you're talking about just a typical baseball player. Nothing out of the ordinary is pitch mix either. Fastball, curveball, slider, two-seam, and changeup. That's like the prototypical pitch mix, too.
Well, I don't know if this will make sense, but his delivery looks like cursive handwriting for some reason. He kind of bends that ankle and points his toes down at the ground when he's at the top of his stretch. It's just very smooth and very elegant the way that he throws the baseball. That one misses outside for ball one to Aiden Johnson.
I do want it to be said that Justin was trying to do the windup just now in the booth. We need to try to replicate all of these windups at some point this year because there's some tough ones.
We have seen some interesting, not only windups, as the 1-0 is called strike one, just barely catches a piece of the plate. Not only have we seen some interesting windups, we've seen some interesting swings, some interesting throwing motions from the outfield. It's always great to get a bunch of different players from around the country as the 1-1 is fouled back into the brick wall behind the home plate umpire there. Always interesting. You get all these players from all over the country, and it's just different guys who have grown up in different styles of baseball.
Yeah, no
different parts of the country,
same.
Exactly.
You got guys from Canada, you got guys from Mexico, you got a guy from Japan now.
Here's the 1-2 to Johnson. Takes a good pitch on the outside corner, but it's called a ball. That's that slider that Dylan was talking about. Count runs 2-2. It's much like yesterday, not a cloud in the sky. As we said, not much wind to speak of, but the temperature is about 15 degrees hotter. As that fastball misses outside for ball 3, count runs full. And maybe even warmer than 15 degrees more. I think we were in the mid-70s yesterday. We're in the mid-90s here today.
Yeah, just polar opposite out at the ballpark today.
I don't envy the Squatch over there in that third base dugout catching all the sunlight here this afternoon. Here's the 3-2, and Johnson draws a walk. Great at bat. There's that patience we were talking about. Not a tough pitch to take there on the 3-2 as it came across right at about the lettering on his helmet. But a good at bat nonetheless, and that'll bring up Ty Farwell with a runner on base. And Vince Polizzi having a chat with Devin Skelton over there in the on-deck circle. We mentioned it yesterday, but Ty Farwell with that little shimmy shake before each pitch, trying to reiterate getting those hips through. Hoppy now fires a fastball. That one just catches the inside corner for strike 1. Now with Aiden Johnson on first, Hoppy is going to speed up that delivery a little bit. We saw Aiden Johnson steal a bag yesterday. A couple innings after I said, I don't think we'll ever see him take a free bag, as this one misses down in the dirt. Nice stop there from Carson Rather.
I mean, to be fair, he did double his Zap stolen base record in his 2 years here with that stolen bag. So.
Well, he just tallied 1 last year, and he's got his first of the season here very early on in this schedule. Hoppy peeking over that left shoulder. Fires, and that one just a bit inside. 2-1 count.
I just can't wait to see him go for his second, because I feel like we're just going to go nuts when he just takes off for 2.
It's going to be an exciting day when Aiden Johnson steals his second bag of the season. I sure hope I'm here for it. I hope it doesn't happen on the road. 2-1 pitch is fouled through the legs of Ty Farwell.
It's like the exponential growth. Like that guy on Twitter, he's like, my child has doubled its weight. By the time it's 18, it'll weigh 1 billion pounds. Aiden Johnson, he's going to just steal exponentially more bags every year. Just double it every time.
A little bit early in the ball game to be talking about exponential growth, don't you think, Dylan? Only in the bottom half of the first inning. Here's the 2-2. That one's down and in the dirt. Johnson started for second base, and then he comes back to first, not wanting to run into an out. Didn't get very far from Carson Rather. We haven't seen the cannon on Rather yesterday. Owen Mickelson was behind the dish for the Sasquatch, and he had a great arm from behind the dish. Threw out a couple Zap runners yesterday afternoon. Now the count runs full to Ty Farwell. Second batter in a row with a full count, and that one's fouled and off the hand of Rather. You know, that one hurt.
Especially on just a hot day like this, man.
Well, I was just thinking about that, and I think you'd rather take one off the hand like that at this point in the year than when you're playing fall baseball and you get some of these South Dakota days that can really dip down in temperature. That's when everything hurts.
Swinging the bat would probably sting. Just the ring in your hands when it's that cold.
Absolutely. So Farwell stays alive. The 3-2 again. That misses in the dirt. And now the Zap have 2 runners on. So more good, patient hitting from the Zap, and that'll bring up Vince Polizzi. Polizzi knows a thing or two about giving the Zap the lead. He did it yesterday in the bottom half of the first inning with a 2-run shot. Now he can do it here with a 3-run shot if he wants to go deep. One thing about a 93-degree day, the ball is going to travel.
And one thing about a 93-degree day, I bet this Zap team wants a run rule to get out of this sun.
Well, they had 2 run rules in their first 2 home games against the Fremont Moo. It's a tougher team, this Sasquatch squad is. And Polizzi will take an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Not the one he was looking for. Polizzi, not Ponciano. Polizzi swinging the bat there in the right-handed batter's box. Twirling, and Aiden Johnson trying to take all the attention away from Polizzi in the batter's box. Trying to keep Hoppy and his focus on the runners on the base paths, and it worked there on that pitch. That one misses outside.
Keep up the good work out there on second base. Get his mind off the power hitter. Maybe he'll just loft one across the plate.
Maybe so. Hoppy comes set, fires a curveball. That one misses high.
Lizzie, definitely one you don't want to miss on and down the middle of the plate.
Hoppy comes set. Here's the 2-1. And just a bit outside for Richard Gilmore's liking, and now Polizzi's worked the count back to a hitter's count. It's 3-1, and if I'm Hoppy, I'm not throwing him anything too good to hit here, especially after what he did yesterday. Runners on first and second. One out for the Zap. The 3-1 to Polizzi is fouled off to the right field side, and that one's going to escape the ballpark. And now another full count. Third straight batter that has worked to count full here.
Yeah, just more of that patience at the plate from the Zap we've been talking about all year long.
Here's the 3-2, runners going. That one's driven the other way, and that's going to get through. One runner will score. It's Aiden Johnson. Farwell's going to be held up at third, but Vince Polizzi with a RBI single has tied the game at 1. Great piece of hitting there from Vince Polizzi, something I feel like he might have gotten away from last year. He went on that home run streak early on in the year, and it felt like he was trying to chase the long ball. But he takes a 3-2 off-speed pitch, waits for it to travel across the plate, pushes it the other way, and ties up the ball game.
Yeah, and classic small ball there, getting the hit and run on, getting Aiden Johnson in from second, and good piece of hitting to bring another power guy up to the plate, and Mason Lang, and keep his young campaign going here. Maybe get another RBI, bring in Farwell.
Well, he's got ducks on the pond, runners on first and third here. And the first pitch is driven down the right field line. That's going to get by the first baseman and fair. Ty Farwell will score. Polizzi is hustling around third. He's going to come in standing, and right on cue, Mason Lang gives the Zap the lead, and that has got the dugout and the fans here fired up. My goodness, that one was touch and chalk the whole way down. It could have hit a little pebble and gone foul, but it stayed fair, and now the Zap lead 3-1.
Thought he was going to hit the base for a minute. I mean, just ripped on down the line, and Mason Lang another extra base hit, and great start here for the Zap.
So that'll bring up the right fielder, Connor Goldberg. And now working up the pitch count as Goldberg drives one to right center. That's looking for the gap. That is going to get down. Bounces off the wall. Heading around third. And heading for home is Lang. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is in time. And a perfect relay from the right fielder, Sam Nopnoski, to Peyton Fort. And Fort fires it home. And Mason Lang, as happy as he was standing on second, is none too pleased right now. Runs into an out, but that, I hate to assign blame anywhere, but Jamie Haberger had him sending home the entire way. And Lang, not the fastest runner out there on the base paths, but you got to tip your cap to the relay from Nopnoski to Fort. And that's the second out. So the Zap getting a little bit too excited there on the base paths.
I really thought Lang was going to have a triple on his hit earlier. We saw him get 3 on a hit like that in Casper, and would have scored easily. I think he was just waiting a bit for that ball to kind of drop in there for Goldberg, and I mean, that's a ball you'd score on just about every time.
Trey Runge now up for the Zap. He takes ball 1 outside. But in the end, a really nice hit there from Goldberg, as that one is called for a strike. Catches the top right corner of the zone. Couple opposite field hits here for the Zap. And that's gotten them out to a 3-1 lead. 2 outs here. Goldberg on second. Big swing and a miss from Trey Runge.
You just hope that run's one that just comes back to bite you later.
Well, it's an interesting to get in the mind of a third base coach. growing up as a Braves fan, we had Ron Washington for more years than we should have. I believed he was going to be a manager somewhere well before he actually got hired on by the Angels, as this one misses outside. But that is such an underappreciated role. A really good and a really wise third base coach that knows his players to a T, knows when to send them, knows when to hold it up, knows the flow and the feel of a game. As this one is swung on and missed for strike 3. But the Zap score 3. They've got the lead. It's 3-1 after one. We'll be right back after this break on River 92.7.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Back here at Hyde Stadium for the top of the second, the Oahe Zap jump out on the Spearfish Sasquatch 3-1. And it was a great first inning for the Zap. Full of spark. We were talking about how they needed to play some small ball, but a lot of extra base hits there in the first. And probably unlucky not to score more than 3 in that one.
Well, I think, we do want some small ball, but we'll take those big base hits too.
Yeah, for sure. As A.J. Ponciano comes back out for his second inning of work here versus Sasquatch. The 6, 7, 8 due up for them. Chase Scott, the first baseman in tonight's contest. As Ponciano gets his back to the batter, he's set now as he winds and goes. Down the middle for strike 1. And Ponciano gave up that 1 run in the first. And he kind of rallied back well afterwards. And we'll see how he works. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes a bit deeper in this game than he has this year. As the 0-1 can't catch the zone. Ball 1 count evened up at 1 apiece now. As scoreboard operator here at Hyde Stadium is just having himself a day at the moment. He's got Spearfish with 3 runs in the first and 1 run total. As that one is swung on and missed for strike 2 for Ponciano. As he does have the score correct, I will give him that. 3-1, the Zap are leading, but maybe some small hitches to work on there as the scoreboard just completely goes out here in Hyde Stadium.
It's all right. We've got Eli Lewis here staying on top of things for us.
And Ponciano knows the count. He knows it's a 1-2 as he delivers. Off speed, gets him looking. Ponciano, great start to this second inning. Goes off speed, tricks Scott with that one.
And a bit of a different strike zone from yesterday as we saw Dylan Turner behind the plate. He's now out in the field. And we've got, it seems like, a bit more of a generous strike zone here this afternoon. Yeah. Can't be surprised with as hot as it is. I think both of these umpires, especially wearing all that gear behind home plate for 9 straight innings, that can wear on you a bit. But the shadows are coming, Mr. Gilmore. Just hang in there.
Yeah, for sure. A hot day for any umpire as the 0-0 from Ponciano. Catches for strike 1. I once had a teacher in high school. He was an umpire himself, tried to invent something to cool off on these days. It was basically an ice pack harness. He called it Cool Blues. So if Brad Finken, if you're out there listening, you just got a free promo for Cool Blues. I know it's still kicking out there somewhere as 0-1 becomes 0-2, but I'm sure an ump would love an ice pack on a day like today.
I'm sure that our great staff of interns and, of course, the GM Alex Sheets and his wife are going to do whatever they need to take care of our umpires here. That's something that Bob Habiger, one of the co-owners, is adamant about, making sure that we take care of these guys. As this one, oh, sorry, Dylan, I took your play-by-play as Fort grounds it to second.
It's all good as Farwell barely kept that one in his glove there, but a good play. We're a team. We can pass it off, and I mean, we do it every other inning. Why not just in the middle there? I mean,
well, one thing I do want to mention, Ty Farwell has had a couple tough plays over there at first, and for a guy that doesn't play first base very often, he's looking pretty comfortable over there so far.
Yeah, it's been a good start. He's been called on a couple of times already as Ben Foyer to the plate now. Shortstop for the Sasquatch tonight as that one misses low for ball one.
You see Mason Lang behind the plate. There's an interesting discussion that goes on with catchers now about should they put that knee down. Most catchers, the traditional stance where they're squatted down, but Lang has got that right leg stuck out.
As that one put into play, Trey Runge makes the grab, goes to dirt, and the Oahe Zap will head to the bottom of the second with a 3-1 lead. We'll be right back here on 92.7 River.
Thinking of travel, Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey Zap baseball fans, it's Justin Cowart. If you're interested in a podcast that's sports and only sports, you need to check out Players Perspective. I have athletes and coaches from the South Dakota area and across the country, from the high school all the way up to the professional level. Come on and tell stories of their biggest and best moments of their athletic careers. If it's sports, you bet we cover it on Players Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Avera. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching DRG Media Group or on drgnews.com. Now, back to myself and Dylan Beach in the broadcast booth for some more Zap Baseball.
Thank you, Justin. A wonderful self-plug. Make sure to go listen to the podcast, and while you're here, make sure you subscribe to the Oahe Zap YouTube channel.
There you go.
We'll get out all of our self-promos here in the bottom of the second as
you're going to hear that podcast promo again. I guarantee it.
As Naruto Saito, fan favorite, comes to the plate. As that one misses high for ball one.
Good to see Saito back in the lineup here for the Zap. I know you guys have really fallen in love with Naruto here in the early going of this season.
I think love is to just put it softly. I mean, he's a fan favorite. The town's really rallying around him, and we love to see him in the lineup as he's quickly ahead 2-0 in the count. And we've mentioned kind of the unique stances, and he really holds that bat high. But now it's on the shoulder, and then you kind of see him just hold it up high, and we've seen this coaching staff try to get him to really swing through the ball as that one goes in for strike one.
Well, that is one thing you're starting to see at the major league level is guys starting with the hands a little bit closer to the strike zone, eliminating some of that travel time to get the bat through the zone quicker.
The 2-1 misses high. Saito out ahead in the count 3-1. He's not a guy like Vince Polizzi where you might be a little more okay floating one over the plate to get the strike here. See if Saito gets the green light from Coach Habiger. As the 3-1 now from Hoppy. Sets and deals. Slap back the other way, foul from Saito. See, swings through it in the batter's box after he kind of just stuck his bat out and sliced it back the other way.
Well, I think, too, for a guy like Saito, doesn't have a ton of power. You know, you've got to be a small ball type of player. Try to find spots and holes in that infield. And just try to poke something out where a Sasquatch player isn't. That's what makes these smaller and faster players great at the plate, being able to find those gaps in the infield and get on base and make these defenses pay.
Full count now, the payoff pitch to Saito. Skips on in there for ball 4. He just starts running towards first base. You mentioned you're a Braves fan, I'm a Cardinals fan, and that's kind of been something I saw early in the hitting approach for the Cardinals this year is when it's those 2-strike counts kind of choking up, just putting the ball into play, and saw Lars Nootbaar pick up a few RBIs early this year doing that, but boy, has he gone cold lately.
Well, the problem with the Braves, and we'll stay away from as much MLB talk, as I know we've got a lot of ILB fans listening, but the problem with the Braves ain't the offense. It's the giving up 7 runs in the top of the 9th inning and creating a historically bad loss. But back to the Zap. Had to get that off my chest.
Hey, it's okay. This is a safe space in the booth as Emiliano Curiel comes to the plate. Good night for him last night. Had a couple of hits, got on.
Couple nice plays out in the outfield, too.
For sure for Curiel. As got to worry about Saito at first as that one in there for strike 1. Counts 1-1. Still don't have a scoreboard here at Hyde Stadium. We do apologize about the scoreboard on the stream. Eli Lewis is trying to get it to 3. We promise. We know it isn't at 4. I can't see the comments section, but I have to imagine we have a couple there. We're working on it. Some small hiccups to work on here early in the year. 1-2 count to Curiel. But it is 3-1. Maybe the Zap will put up a 4th here so we can just leave it as is, but as Curiel behind in the count, 1-2. Hoppy trying to get back in this one. As that one's high, and Saito not back in time. It looked like the tag had almost, I don't want to say missed him because he was just kind of dead to rights there, but he kind of slid in behind the first baseman, but not back in time, and Saito thrown out at first base.
Well, he faked the steal. He wasn't actually stealing. He was just trying to deke the catcher, and Carson Rather took advantage of it, and Chase Scott with a beautiful pinwheel tag at first. Saito's got to be smarter than that on the base paths.
As Curiel sends one back the other way, foul. And can't afford to have those free outs. I mean, you had the leadoff walk there, all the makings of what could be a big inning with speedster Curiel at the plate, and then the lineup would be turning around to Phillips. But a guy like Saito coming back into the lineup, that's a mistake you don't want to see as the 2-2 now. Swung on a miss from Curiel, and just like that, and a couple of pitches, 2 down for the Zap.
And that's the type of thing, back to the Saito throw out at first base, that will just drive a coaching staff crazy. Especially like you mentioned, when you have the top of the lineup coming right around the corner, and you've got a fast guy on base. You're in a series where you need to score runs because you know the team on the opposite side of the diamond will score runs at some point. You can't run into outs like that. I'm sure that Habiger, Skelton, and the rest of the crew will have a chat with Saito about that.
As the 0-0 to Phillips runs way inside, ducks out of the way for ball 1. Andrew Phillips, if you see him in town, you're likely going to see him riding around on his, what is it, maybe a motorbike? I don't feel comfortable calling it a motorcycle, but it is a motorbike of some kind. And
a moped.
I don't, it's kind of in that hybrid range in between. It's much more heavy duty. I'd have to say it's got a bigger engine on it than a moped, but
just be careful, Andrew. We need a leadoff hitter. We can't afford you to be going down and laying that thing down and scuffing up your arms.
The 1-0 now to Phillips. As that one misses for ball 2. And certainly need Andrew Phillips in the lineup for leadoff. He's got tremendous speed, and he's been a great defender out in center field just because he can get to a lot of balls that other players just might not be able to with his premier speed. as he's quickly ahead in the count. 2-0 from Hoppy. Popped up by Phillips. Sasquatch chasing. Shortstop Foyer makes the play. To the top of the third we go. The Zap lead this one 3-1 here at Hyde Stadium.
Things in life you can't control. Your in-laws just bought a new house right next door. Construction is behind schedule, so you have to detour to work again. That car next to you just lost control and swerved into your lane. Things in life you can control. Wearing your seatbelt. In South Dakota, over 55% of those who die in a car crash aren't buckled up. Control what you can. Always wear your seatbelt.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes, pay by the round, save with a punch card, or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Get ready, Central South Dakota. Oahe Days in Pierre is back, June 20th and 21st at Steamboat Park.
It's the annual music and arts festival you don't want to miss. Live music, amazing food, local vendors, carnival rides, a beer garden, and so much more.
Friday night, it's 90s party band, the Mallrats.
And Saturday, country fans, Struggle Jennings takes the stage.
The 3 bands each night start at 5 p.m.
Grab the full lineup and details now at oahedays.com.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
3-1, Zap lead here after 2. We head to the top of the third. Justin Coward alongside Dylan Beach, our producer, director extraordinaire, Eli Lewis, bringing you the feed on drgnews.com and the Oahe Zap Facebook. A lot of offense here from the Zap to start. Couldn't get anything going there in the previous bottom half of the second inning. Naruto Saito ran into an out over there on first base, and then the Zap kind of had all momentum killed there. Ponciano back on the mound. And Isaac Martinez at the bottom of the lineup up for the Squatch. Aiden Johnson's going to play way up on the grass. Might expect a bunt here as Ponciano fires strike one. We heard the promo there for Dunes Golf in our last break. You want to have a good time, go out to Dunes. Play some golf. You'll feel really good about your score. You can get to those greens pretty easily and might have a fun event coming up in July as this one's chopped towards the first base side. Tough play for Farwell. It's fielded by Trey Runge, but he's not able to get it there in time to the covering Ponciano. That was an in-between hop on a softly hit ball, one of those that has a ton of front and forward spin. And Farwell just couldn't keep his glove down, got right through the wickets, and that'll put on Martinez to bring us back to the top of the Squatch order.
Yeah, tough play to make when you haven't played a lot of first base this year.
That was one that he hit, and it bounced about 3 feet in front of the plate and then went straight up in the air. He caught all top of that ball, and it created a bunch of topspin, making a near impossible play for Farwell. So not how Ponciano wanted to start the inning, but he comes right back with a strike to Nick Work.
I might have to make it out to Dunes Golf. That
You'll
sounds
have
like
a great time.
That sounds like the course for me because my driver goes about maybe 10 feet because I dribble it off the tee box.
Much like that hit there for Martinez. Ponciano with the 0-1 to Work. Just a bit high. Our head football coach over at Pierre for TF Riggs, his name is Steve Steele. And if that's not a name you've heard here while you've been in Pierre, that's a name that you should know, is the fire over to first from Ponciano, not in time to get Martinez. And he called me up today. He's trying to put something in the works to help benefit Stanley County Gold, which is a school across the bridge over in Fort Pierce, Stanley County. As this one's driven high, but over the fencing right behind home plate, and that'll bounce out of bounds, and that almost caught the couple fans that set up for the Sanford Health table, which is sponsoring tonight's game.
I thought it hit the beer cart at first.
That would be a devastating affair right there. 2 strikes here on Work. And he drives this one into center, coming on, trying to make the play, but can't, and bouncing through his fingertips is Andrew Phillips. So that's going to get all the way to the wall. Squatch are going to at least score 1, and on his way to third is Nick Work. Work was chugging for third, thought he might have an inside-the-park home run, but Andrew Phillips was able to get to the wall in time and get it in, but the Squatch have added their second run of the ball game. It's 3-2. Zap's still in front, and Nick Work at third base. That'll bring up the catcher, Carson Rather.
Beer batter tonight, Carson Rather. I bet he's got a lot of enemies in the crowd right now.
So Rather, the left-handed batter. Got a couple tears in those pants and a couple dirt stains that you'll get. Customary with any catcher. One of the dirtiest players out on the field. Ponciano is set. First pitch to Rather, misses high. Stanley County Gold, part of the Stanley County Booster Club, I believe, but in coordination with the Boys and Girls Club of the capital area, which is one of the things that head coach Steve Steele very heavily involved in. As Ponciano misses high for ball 2. Steele is wanting to put together a fundraiser of 108 holes of golf in one day. And he's knowing that I am constantly on the radio, can help promote an avid golfer myself, asked if I wanted to be a part of it. As Ponciano misses outside, count runs 3-0. And he said, "Are you up for playing 100, maybe 108 holes in a day?" So this sounds like my Saturday and Sunday afternoon there, Steve Steele. I'd love to do that. Anything to help Stanley County out, as the Buffaloes have a lot of great things coming down the pipeline. Here's the 3-0. Had the green light, swung on, fouled into the glove of Mason Lang. He dropped it. Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
That's a lot of golf.
You're not lying, buddy.
I think
108 holes in a day.
I think if you would have said that was a scramble, you could get me out there. I'd be good for some putts for a scramble team, but 108 holes, I think I would be dead and winded after the first 36.
Well, I'll do anything for the community, especially something for Steve Steele, as this one's driven up the middle just past the outstretched glove of Naruto Saito, and we've got a tie ball game. So Nick Work trots in slowly, touches home plate. We're tied at 3 apiece after a nice piece of hitting there from Carson Rather. And that'll bring up the heavy-hitting Kyle Finn.
Yeah, just some unlucky plays here for Ponciano on the mound. Just ball's not dropping his way right now on the mound.
So Kyle Finn will step into the right-handed batter's box. He drives one into center. That sends Andrew Phillips back in tracking. This one he's under. He's got it. And that'll be the first out of the inning. So nice play by Phillips, shaking off that error in center field on the hit 2 previous to that one.
That's the type of at-bat you need for Ponciano to get deep into this ball game. One pitch, get it done with.
Quick out. Now we'll see if he can get a ground ball out of Jordan Bowman. Give this middle infield the opportunity to turn 2. As we mentioned, Bowman standing above 6 feet, 250 pounds. Throw over to first base. Close play. Great pick there from Ty Farwell.
And at first base, you see that height difference between him and Farwell. That would have been quite the catcher matchup. 5'9" versus 6'5" if Farwell's behind the plate today.
Ponciano's set. First offering is skied up into left field, staring back into the sunlight is Curiel. He's underneath it. He's got it. And that's the second out of the inning. So a couple nice at-bats here for A.J. Ponciano on the mound after giving up 2 runs. He comes back quickly with 2 outs. And he'll try to get Sam Nopnoski for the third out here.
Yeah, I mean, he's given up 2 this inning, both of them unearned. And 2 pitches, 2 outs, working efficiently, trying to get back in. You got the 2, 3, 4 due up for the Zap, so could be another big inning for them if they continue how they were in the first.
And we talked about it yesterday. It's one of those things, you just try not to give up that huge inning. You just try to kind of pick and prod your way through this lineup. Runners going, swung on and missed, throw down to second, off the mark, and in sliding is Carson Rather, so he'll take second base. You just have to avoid those 5-run innings, those 6-run innings. You can get away with giving up 2, maybe 3 runs You need a couple innings throughout the game and just rely on your offense to pick you up. But there's not much you can do when you give up a 5 or a 6 frame. I believe that Gilmore called that a strike, so we'll say the count is now 1-1 after that ball misses down low.
Yeah, still no scoreboard here at High Stadium.
They're working on it, probably having some technical difficulties. That scoreboard doesn't really get used to heat like this in South Dakota. We don't often get up into the 90s, let alone the mid-90s, as this one's swung on hard and fouled over towards the Zap dugout.
I believe we did have a breaker flip earlier, so maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to try to be an electrician by any means, but maybe just take out guesses right now.
I'd say you're pretty good at this job here, Dylan. I think you found a good place up here in the booth. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. So Ponciano gives up 2, but that's all he gives up. We're tied at 3. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's 3-3. We'll be back after this short break on River 92.7.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
I'm not really sure what this mid-inning game is that the kids and a couple Zap players are playing with. They're playing with water balloons. That's what it is, and it looks like a couple Zap players, they didn't really care about winning. Looked like one of his teammates there just wanted to get him wet with a water balloon.
That was Cornett and Bazanski getting them there.
3-3 ball game here as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Remind you that Venture Communications is bringing you fiber facts all season long. Did you know that fiber internet is a direct physical connection to your location? Fiber is less likely to be affected by weather compared to wireless signal traveling through the air or space. So remember, Venture Communications, rain or shine, you're online since they provide fiber to every household.
Ain't that just the worst when it storms and you just lose power and Wi-Fi?
Hasn't happened to me yet. We don't really have any wood to knock on here. We had Eli knocking on some drywall. I don't know if that paid off yesterday afternoon.
Well, looking at the scoreboard, I'm not sure it did. And I don't remember what we were knocking on wood for, but if it was anything to do with the game, I'm not sure it worked.
Well, we got 6 more innings to figure it out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Use the trainer's table.
Yeah, we do have some
wood.
wood
That
up
might be fake
there.
wood, but I'm not sure.
I think they refer to that as faux wood. Aiden Johnson in the right-handed batter's box for the Zap. 1-0 count. Hoppy's still on the mound. This one misses down and away. Hoppy's only had 2 outings thus far this year. The deepest he's gone was in his first start at Hastings against the Sodbusters. He went 4 innings pitched. And he had a great outing. Only gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run. He walked 4, but he struck out 6. As this one misses down and away. Count runs 3-0. Zap got Naruto Saito on as their leadoff hitter in the last inning with a free pass. Would love to get Aiden Johnson here on first for Ty Farwell. Perfect fastball right down the middle. Hoppy will throw his fastball right around 90. So he tops around 89, but on a hot day like today when everything is loose and clicking, you could probably get him on the gun at 90 in some of these earlier innings. That one bounces just short of the dish there, so Aiden Johnson with a real easy at bat.
I don't know if they're scared of him after that homer yesterday, but he's walked his last 5 at-bats since that home run.
Well, he got the message about patient at-bats and playing a little small ball. And so he keeps the walk streak going.
I mean, this is like Barry Bonds. Like, Aiden Johnson out there, they won't pitch to him.
Well, congratulations, Aiden Johnson. You just got compared to Barry Bonds, the greatest hitter of all time. He looked like Barry yesterday with that home run to left field, as Farwell takes ball 1 down and in. Hoppy's second outing was against the Fremont Moo, not as fruitful as his first. He gave up 7 earned runs on only 2 hits. He walked 6, only struck out 3 against the Moo. As Farwell wears that one. So we've got our single game hit by pitch again. We got to find a sponsor for that one. That's something that will come up quite a bit here for these Zap ball games. Seems like we've got to hit batsmen every 3 innings or so.
Hey, we've been talking about the guards and equipment. That one getting used there, it hit the leg guard. He probably didn't feel anything there.
Is Ty Farwell, a left-handed hitter, has got that guard on the left shin. Now, that's not designed for pitches coming in and hitting you. That's designed for foul balls that get sent straight down. But it's a multi-purpose guard, clearly. As Justice Scott just came out and had a word with our home plate umpire, Richard Gilmore. Not sure what that could have been about. We don't see any changes out on the infield. Carson Rather took that opportunity to go out and calm down Hoppy because that brings up Vince Polizzi with nobody out and runners on first and second.
It couldn't have been about the play either. I mean, it's not debating. I mean, he did hit him.
As this one's sent the other way, Peyton Fort tosses to second for 1, on the first for 2. So the Sasquatch get the double play. It does move Johnson over to third. And now Mason Lang with an opportunity to give the Zap back the lead. Peyton Fort is a really impressive player over there at second. Didn't have the greatest start defensively to the game yesterday. Botched a couple easy ground balls. But he made up for it with his performance at the plate. He has been red hot with a bat in his hands. Mason Lang put a charge into one earlier on in the bottom of the first inning. We'll see if he can do it again here. That one bounces. Nice stop by Rather. Keep Aiden Johnson at third. Hoppy comes set. Long look into Rather, fires and misses high.
And Rather doing a good job to keep these here. It'd have to be quite a wild pitch, I feel like, for them to send Johnson, but with 2 outs, he's got to be ready here.
Well, the only problem is you got that really stout brick wall about 15 yards back behind home. Any pass ball can take a strong hop right back to the catcher as that one catches the top of the strike zone. Count runs 2-1. Here to Mason Lang. Just needs a soft base hit. Anything will score. Aiden Johnson from third. 2-1. Misses down and in. Ball 3. Connor Goldberg waiting patiently in the on-deck circle. Here's the 3-1 pitch. High, ball 4. So another walk for the Zap. Hoppy is getting a little animated out there on the mound. None too pleased with his performance thus far here today. And the walks and hit batsman doesn't help.
Already just shy of 60 pitches. That was his 59th. And you're in the bottom of the third. That's definitely not in the dictionary as efficient pitching.
Squatch do have a pitcher getting warmed up down there down the left field line in the bullpen that sits just west of the third base, now left field line. Hoppy comes set. First pitch is in for a strike to Connor Goldberg.
That's Aiden Brothers out there getting warmed up.
Brothers not nearly as tall or as stout as Hoppy is. But Brothers has got some good movement on his off-speed pitches. That one in the dirt gets by Rather. Nobody advances as it didn't get too far. And it was kind of underneath the backside of Rather and in between him and our home plate umpire, Richard Gilmore. So it's tough to pick up for any base runners where that ball went and how far it got away. So the runners will stay at first and third. 2 outs here, 1-1 count. Short lead over on first base for Mason Lang. That one in the dirt. 2-1 count.
If you had, Lang snagged a couple of bases, but if 2 outs would be a good spot for that double steal, try to get Johnson in, but I don't know. You got Goldberg at the plate, and the way he swung it in the first, I think you got to ride it out with him.
Goldberg set one off the wall in right center. That one's up and away, ball 3. And you don't want to run into any outs, especially when Hoppy's having a hard time finding the strike zone.
He's got that base open, and you don't want to give out the walk, but you could definitely live with it here with 2 outs and Runge coming to the plate.
Hoppy with a quick peek over to Mason Lang at first. Now he sets his sights on Rather behind home plate. 3-1 pitch down and away, ball 4. So we'll keep an eye on Justice Scott. He looks like he's making his way out of the Sasquatch dugout. And he's going to come out. And that looks like it might be the end of the line for Caleb Hoppy. So Hoppy goes down to a squat behind the pitcher's mound. And we're going to have our first pitching change of the afternoon. We're still tied up at 3, but the sacks are full of Zap. 2 outs. And we'll see if the Zap can score. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll introduce you to the new Squatch pitcher. It's a tied ball game, 3-3 here on River 92.7.
The summer is here, and you know what that means. The Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night, so get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River 92.7 Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group.
3-3 tie here in the bottom of the third. The new pitcher for the Sasquatch is Aiden Brothers. Brothers standing 6'1", 190 pounds. He plays his ball out of Gridley, California. Well, that's where he hails from. He plays his ball at Oklahoma Wesleyan University. He, too, has seen, well, he's actually been out 3 times. He's gone 4 innings, 4 1/3 against the Fremont Moo, 4 against the Sodbusters, and then again against the Moo. A couple days later, he only went 2 innings in that outing. Didn't have the best start against the Hastings Sodbusters. He gave up 12 hits, 8 earned runs, 9 total. He only struck out 3, and he hit 3 batters. He cleaned it up in his second outing of his season against the Moo. Went 4 1/3, as I mentioned. Only gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run. Struck out 4, didn't walk anybody. All right, take back what I said about Brothers not being as tall as Hoppy. He might even look taller than Caleb out there on the bump.
Which is like, I kind of agree with your sentiment, because Hoppy at 6'4", he kind of was built a bit more, filled in that frame a bit more. I kind of get what you're saying, feeling a little taller.
So they're going to try to rely on Aiden Brothers to get out of the jam here as he continues to fire some warm-up pitches. Lets Richard Gilmore know he might be good to go, and I think Gilmore and Brothers are having a chat about how many more warm-up pitches he gets. And that's something that can get contentious at any level. How many warm-up pitches a guy gets. Anything can get contentious in the game of baseball. There's so many intricate rules and things that players and umpires and coaches have to think of and be on top of, especially when there's many different things that can happen in a ball game. But that was his last pitch. And Trey Runge, with bases loaded, fouls one off the end of the bat down the right field line, and that's going to make its way out of play.
Chase Scott started running after that one, but made a nice call on this hot day to just who are we kidding ourselves? I mean, that one's getting out of the park. I mean,
got to preserve your energy. 93 degrees. Sun setting back off behind us. Another gorgeous day here in Piers. This one fouled off the same direction. He's inching his way closer to fair territory, but quickly 0-2.
The new pitcher on the mound, I mean, the first 2 pitches fouled off, and the base is loaded, and you had walked a lot of guys on. You thought he might have taken a couple, but Runge liking what he sees here early.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed at a high fastball. Aiden Brothers, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and gets out of the 3rd inning jam. Zap, leave them loaded. We're still tied at 3. After 3, we'll be right back with the top of the 4th after this break on River 92.7.
Thinking of travel? Pier Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at united.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pier Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pier Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pier starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pier.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us.
Back here at the top of the 4th, we're having a bit of a tug of war. Not a very competitive one, that. Alex Jackson, Estevan Baca, I believe Brady Glenn and Bryce Van de Wastine just absolutely wiping the floor with their teammates there in that tug of war.
I think I want Bryce Van de Wastine on my team for anything. You want to talk about a competitor. That kid just always itching to get in some sort of competition and always wants to win.
Yeah, and was not a very competitive tug of war by any sense of the mean from the start. Team on the right was just dominating. Might hear some excuses out of some of those guys. I saw Josh Porter on the other team. I'll have to ask him what went wrong. Maybe post-game interview, maybe pre-game. I think he's due to start at some point, so might be able to talk to him, get that in an interview, ask him what happened in the tug of war. As Ponciano comes back out for the 4th, has been making some quick work, only 44 pitches so far. And whenever in the last time we saw him, he had 2 pitches, 2 outs, so that's definitely helping extend his day. This is by far his longest outing of the year, as he just tries to keep this where it's at. 3-3 ball game, 6-7-8 due up for the Sasquatch. Scott, first pitch, that one popped to Runge, under it for the out, and 3 pitches, 3 outs there for Ponciano. And I mean, in a day where you need to make your longest start of the year.
It was actually a 1 pitch, 1 out. I wish we could get 3 outs on 1 pitch. But
well, I was referring back to last inning when he did it as well.
Gotcha.
Those were the last 2 from last inning. But
that is a pitcher's best friend to start an inning. 1 pitch, a little soft pop-up to second base.
I mean, getting out with, when you need to have your longest outing of the year, you have 7 games in 7 days. I mean, you can do that a lot, as we see bunt there, pulled back for ball 1 for Fort. Peyton Fort out of North Iowa Area Community College.
Shocked to see a guy like Peyton Fort, the way he's been hit and turned to square and bunt.
Yeah, it is a shocker seeing the ILB hit leader showing bunt, but maybe a bit of a mind game as that one comes in for ball 1. They called that one... Okay, yeah, ball 2, it was in Game Changer as a strike, but I could have swore he called it a ball, but it is 2-0. We have the count on the scoreboard back in Hyde Stadium, as Fort sends that one to Andrew Phillips underneath it on the pop-up. 2 away for the Zap. Quick work here for A.J. Ponciano, as that'll bring Ben Foyer to the plate, the shortstop. And Just quick work here for Ponciano. Got to try to get these bats back to the plate for the Zap. Had bases loaded, couldn't get anything across in the bottom of the third. New pitcher came in, Aiden Brothers, as that one misses high for ball one, and Foyer knew it instantaneously. Dropped that bat quickly, was confident in the call. It was an easy one to make for head umpire Richard Gilmore. Ponciano, the 1-0. That one catches for strike one, and I got to talk to Richard Gilmore yesterday before the game. I went up, introduced myself, asked him if he was the head umpire, and he said no, and then said he was the one calling the balls and strikes, which he didn't do that yesterday either, so might have been a bit confused on his bearings getting into Pierre. I hear he's from Arizona, so might have been a long drive to get in here. But
what could be? I hope he didn't drive.
He was in Casper, so I mean he's been getting all over the place. That one missed for ball two for Ponciano. The 2-1 now. In there, evens up the count at 2 apiece as Richard Gilmore thought about it. He held the strike in at his chest and then really threw it out eventually.
Getting back to his old ways, I see.
Ben Foyer awaiting the 2-2 from Ponciano, making quick work here. That one skips in. Count full now for Ponciano. Goes to Cerro Coso Community College. Facing his coach, Justice Scott, here today. A lot of Cerro Coso guys in this series, a lot of them in that Sasquatch team, following their coach to South Dakota. Ponciano, one of the guys, going to the other South Dakota team, the Zap. As the 3-2 now. Swung foul. Get take two on the payoff pitch from Ponciano now.
That's pretty interesting. Kind of a cool dynamic. I wonder what Ponciano had to say to his college head coach about not bringing him on his ILB team.
Yeah, and a couple of guys on this Zap team that play for Cerro Coso, Emiliano Curiel, another guy like that. I talked to him about it, and he was like, I think even if he offered me, I would want to play for the Zap. He says he likes it here. As that one chopped to Saito across the diamond to Farwell in time. 1-2-3 for Ponciano, and we'll be right back here in the bottom of the fourth.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre's Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Back here at Hyde Stadium, got a bit of deja vu. Naruto Saito leading things off again. He's led off both of my innings of work here today. We'll see if he can get back on. Doesn't want to replicate that base running error he had the last time, as much like his last at-bat, that one misses outside for ball one. Saito got on a free pass. He ran it out to first base, as that one misses high once again. We've mentioned some of the guys in this game who have a very tall and large strike zone, but Saito not one of those guys. 5'6", as That one runs inside for ball 3, and quickly Saito looking like he might get another free pass here.
And I guarantee you he won't make the same mistake he did the last time he was on the base paths.
3-0 here to Saito. 5'6", 156.5 pounds. That one ran inside for ball 4. And another free pass there for Saito.
Some good footwork by Naruto there to get out of those last 2 pitches as well. You've seen how many hit batsmen the Zap have had this season. He said, I don't want any of that. I'll just get out of the way.
And he's light on his feet. I mean, you kind of see it when he shuffles around trying to make plays in the field as it brings another speedster, Emiliano Curiel, to the plate. And that's kind of how this Zap lineup's been constructed lately, is the 8, 9, and 1 are kind of some of your faster guys trying to put some pressure in at the bottom of the lineup if they give you those free passes, as that one misses low for ball 1.
Zap have really done a great job being patient today. We keep saying it, but it was something that we didn't see yesterday. Definitely something that Habiger talked about in his postgame with the team last night.
Already 7 walks in this one for the Zap, as they're being out-hit right now 4-3, but still tied in this one just because of how much they've been able to get on base. The 1-1 now from Brothers. In there for ball 2. Waiting on that one. That was one that was kind of...
Yeah, it was an in-betweener.
I was expecting maybe a late one there from Gilmore, but goes ball 2. Curiel ahead in the count. Saito on first. Nobody away. Swung on a miss there. Curiel was thinking another hit there, and just underneath that one.
Well, I think he read the off-speed pitch and knew it was coming. He guessed correctly. Just couldn't make contact with it.
2-2 to Curiel now. Brothers set on the mound and fires. That one runs inside, catches Curiel. Looked like he might have leaned into that one a bit. But
I don't know if he leaned. I think he was just kind of turning to absorb the contact of the ball. It almost looked like he knew he was going to get hit and was just preparing for it. But again, runners on first and second, nobody out. Things in play here for the Zap.
It probably is predictable at this point in the season. I mean, you've seen so many of your teammates get hit, and then Curiel getting hit there. It's already the second batter hit in this one for the Zap. Farwell got hit earlier on his piece of protective equipment on that shin, as Phillips shows bunt. Did not pull it back in time, or it caught the zone for strike 1.
I think that one caught the zone. If he was actually trying to bunt, that was a perfect pitch to do it on.
Especially if the speedster's on, and himself, probably the fastest of the 3 at the plate, would have been a good opportunity to maybe leg that one out. The 0-1 now. Pops the bunt back, and that's exactly what you don't want out of the bunt.
Yeah, that was basically like a toss back from the catcher to his pitcher. He just popped that one straight up, and when that happens, what the batter does is he drops the barrel. He doesn't squat down with the pitch. When you drop the barrel, it creates an angle with the ball and the bat to send that ball's trajectory upwards. And that's something that they teach you at the earliest stages of your baseball career. And that's a tough first out for the Zap.
Yeah, and good rally starting here. Aiden Johnson's going to have to keep it going. We mentioned he's walked the last 5 times he's been at the plate. He's going to be raising his on-base percentage, as that one in there for strike 1. Johnson hit that homer in his first time up yesterday, and then since has not had too many chances to swing the bat, as that one runs inside for ball 1. Brothers trying to work out of a bit of a jam here. Runners on first and second. The popped-up bunt from Phillips certainly helping his cause. But you got to be careful. A ball in the dirt, these two guys will definitely be ready to run, as that one misses outside for ball 2. Aiden Johnson, just impressive plate discipline since getting that home run. A lot of guys, when you hit that homer, they kind of get swing happy. You're swinging at everything. The ball looks a lot bigger than it is, but he has been very disciplined at the plate, just taking what they give him. The 2-1 now. Misses outside, and just like that, heading the count in a very hitter-friendly one 3-1 here to Johnson.
It might help, too, with Aiden knowing who's hitting behind him with Ty Farwell and then Vince Polizzi. He's probably thinking, he's the ultimate team player, and he probably just wants to get on base for those two guys behind him to do some damage.
3-1, swung on and missed there, Johnson. All 4 Zap to hit a homer this year in a row. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Johnson, Farwell, Polizzi, and Lang, the 4 homers for the Zap this year. Johnson, the latest, got it yesterday. It was the last run the Zap put across. The 3-2 now. Swung on and missed from Johnson. Just like that, 2 away for the Zap, but the power hitter Farwell now to the plate.
Really good fastball there from 2 fastballs, actually, back-to-back to Aiden Johnson from Aiden Brothers. I think that he was thinking to himself, look, my off-speed's not getting across the plate. I can't find the zone with it. I'm just going to rev it up and power a couple by him. That's exactly what he did.
Farwell now to the plate. Stark height difference between him and Johnson back-to-back in the lineup. Even him and the guy on second base, just about a foot difference between him and Saito. As it's not too many times you'll see Ty Farwell not being the tallest guy in a game, but a couple of Sasquatch who would tower over even him. As that one gets behind, both the runners will advance.
I think Gilmore's saying that hit him. And he is. Farwell's going to take his second hit batsman of the ball game.
As Farwell advanced there and will get on their 3rd hit batter. And
now the second, I believe the second time that the Zap have had the bases loaded with 2 outs here this afternoon. Just got to bring some people across. This is a perfect opportunity for Vince Polizzi to blow this thing open.
Maybe the perfect guy at the plate for it. See, pitch 1. He checked the appeal. I feel like that was kind of a unneeded appeal.
Well, that was a veteran move by Polizzi. He checked his swing, and he kept the bat right there in his right hand, right where he stopped it at, to show both umpires that was not a full swing.
1-0. Turn 2-0 now. And it didn't ever really look like he went. That was an appeal, maybe just called upon to just double check, but was a good check swing there. Now quickly ahead in the count. 2-0 in there for strike 1.
And that might be a reaction from umpires. You get asked to appeal, maybe they just automatically go over to their field umpire out of reaction or just out of habit.
2-1 now. Outside for ball 3 to Polizzi. And with the power hitter at the plate, you don't want to walk in a run, but you would certainly take one coming across rather than a bases clearing double or a grand slam in this situation if you're brothers. You've only given up 1 run in your last 2 outings. You don't want to go back to those 9-run innings. As that one swung on by Polizzi, had the green light.
Perfect hitters count, 3-1. I don't blame Polizzi for taking a hack there. But you got to be smart here with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
3-2. We've already seen Polizzi hold off on a pitch in the dirt. We'll see if he is called upon to do that again. The 3-2. Got to get a run here if you're the Zap. That one sent into center field. It's going to get down. It'll score at least 1. It'll score 2. And runners on the corner. 2 away. Vince Polizzi getting the offense started again for the Zap.
Great piece of hitting there by Vince Polizzi. Kind of cued one off the end of the bat there, dropped it perfectly into shallow center, but on a 3-2 pitch, just protecting the plate, and he didn't try to do too much with that swing. It was, I got runners on, I got 2 outs, all I need to do is put this thing in play, and he did a perfect job of that. And how about the Zap regaining the lead, getting it done with 2 outs?
It's kind of guided it back to where it came from, just kind of helped chug it back out into the outfield, and it was nice piece of 2-out, 2-strike hitting with the full count to Polizzi as Lang fouls that one off for strike 1. Sure Mason Lang would love to keep this inning going, kind of try to start putting this ball game away. We're in the bottom of the 4th. We got a lot of baseball left, but when you have this many games, it might be, if you get up a bit, you might see some different type of pitchers as that one fouled off to the left field side. The left fielder, Isaac Martinez, was chasing for a bit, but that would have been a lot of ground to cover as that one got all the way to the fence.
And especially knowing that plywood fence is there waiting for you if you make a slide around that bullpen area.
As Lang, the 0-2, way behind in this count, swung on in the dirt, dropped the third strike. We'll see if it's in there in time. Well, the first baseman wasn't standing on the plate, but he does make the tag in time. Zap regained the lead 5-3. We'll be right back for the top of the fifth.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey Zap baseball fans, it's Justin Cowart. If you're interested in a podcast that's sports and only sports, you need to check out Players Perspective. I have athletes and coaches from the South Dakota area and across the country, from the high school all the way up to the professional level. Come on and tell stories of their biggest and best moments of their athletic careers. If it's sports, you bet we cover it on Players Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Avera. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching DRG Media Group or on drgnews.com. Now, back to myself and Dylan Beach in the broadcast booth for some more Zap Baseball.
Welcome back, folks. Go check out Players Perspective if you hadn't yet. Our latest episode was with Adric Schoen of Jones County. Really cool story about Adric Schoen. As he was at the state track and field meet a couple weekends ago, he broke a school record that stood for 46 years that was held by none other than U.S. Senate Majority Leader John Thune. And John Thune was kind enough to go down to the state track and field meet, intermingle with some of those Jones County athletes. And Adric Schoen, just a great kid. You can find that on drgnews.com. We got a couple special guests at the park today, as A.J. Ponciano steps back out onto the mound and will face Isaac Martinez and starts him off with a strike. Some folks from the South Dakota State Department, State Park Department here today, and they got the best seats in the house right up against the netting. They got a couple cold beverages down there, a couple Sanford Health koozies, as this one's driven sharply down the right field line, going to curl foul. And they do a great job anytime. You know, I went camping out in the Gettysburg area. And being new to the area, I love to go camping. Love to get out and see what South Dakota is really made of. And as the count runs 0-2 after that foul ball, tell you about my experience after Ponciano as he misses high and away. And I didn't really know where to go, so I called up the State Parks Department. I said, can you give me some advice? And the gentleman on the other line told me exactly where to go. It was a busy weekend. He told me where I could go, and I wouldn't find anybody. So big thanks to them. Glad to see them enjoying their afternoon here at Hyde Stadium. That one is just keep me alive foul ball there by Isaac Martinez. He almost went down to a knee trying to foul off that off-speed pitch, but he did to stay alive.
It probably hasn't been the start to the year Martinez has wanted, and you got to try to stay alive at any chance you get, and that is just what he did there.
Ponciano trying to punch out Martinez. Martinez well choked up on the bat in that left-handed batter's box. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed in the dirt. The tag is applied by Mason Lang, and that's a good start for Ponciano here in the top of the fifth inning. And how about a good start for us? We tell you, folks, there's a lot happening here at Hyde Stadium during these Zap baseball games, especially out of the concession stands, and General Manager Alex Sheets has just brought us two of his hottest selling items. We've got the new soft pretzels that they're serving here at Hyde Stadium all season long. And we've got your traditional pretzel with the salt on top with some melted cheese. And we've got the cinnamon pretzel with the icing that acts more like a cinnamon bun. As Ponciano fires in strike one, as we're back to the top of the order for the Sasquatch and Nick Work. So if you don't hear my partner Dylan Beach much this inning, you know why.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try this dessert pretzel. I've seen it everywhere, but I have not tried it before. And this is my first time having the pretzels, and they smell great.
And a couple of Zap fans enjoying some pretzels here this afternoon. Count runs 1-1 on the ball outside. A lot of smart Zap fans, they waited until that sun started to peek behind the stadium here to get to the ballpark. Temperatures starting to drop here, not for the players on the field, as this one's bounced up there for ball 2. 2-1 is the count. And so, Dylan, I must ask, what's your, you want to rate these pretzels here? You've tried them both.
Yeah, I got a small bite of both so far, and they taste as good as they smell, and they had told me they had gotten new pretzels this year, and I didn't exactly know what that entailed, but they sure are good.
That is bounced up for ball 3, so count runs 3-1. Well, they sure look good, and they smell fantastic.
We're going to have to get you trying these in this next inning break. We'll see if
don't you worry.
Ponciano can work fast to get you some pretzel.
I'll get my fix. Don't you worry about that. Ponciano comes set, trying not to lose Nick Work here with the 3-1 count. That's high and inside, so ball 4, and he issues the free pass. You know, the fans, they love to come for the baseball, but the concession items here are really unmatched anywhere else you go. All the stuff is handmade, especially the burgers, the brats, and the dogs. They're all cooked right on a Blackstone right there by the entrance. Nothing frozen.
Yeah, they had me grilling out there before one of the post-8 games a while back.
Well, they keep Dylan off the grill for the Zap games. They only want the best in the culinary experience.
I'm a pretty good griller. I'll give myself that.
It's tough to mess anything up on a Blackstone. Those things...
That especially, too.
Those things cook great. Nothing but the best here for our fans of the Zap. Ball bounced in there. Carson Rather up to the plate for the Squatch. Runner on first. 1 out. 5-3 Zap in front. Here in the top of the 5th inning. Minus the temperatures. Still a perfect day for baseball as this one's over to first, and a nice play by Farwell to knock that throw down. Nick Work had second base on his mind, but he turned and looked and saw that Ty Farwell had stretched over and blocked that throw from Ponciano.
Yeah, Work college teammates with Mason Lang. We'll see if he tries them here.
Ponciano misses outside. Some of our biggest and best recurring fans, the Pier Wildcats, still selling those bingo cards out front. Somebody won just south of $100 yesterday playing bingo here at the ballpark. You only have to pay $3 for a card, $5 for 2 as that one misses away. So Ponciano here in the top of the 5th. He's gone deeper than I think a lot of us thought he might. Maybe starting to run out of gas a little bit. Nobody up and working in the Zap bullpen as of now, so Jamie Habiger just going to let him try to work through this here. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Right down Broadway for strike 1.
Yeah, Ponciano, 8 innings pitched on the year, already about 5 here.
So, Dylan, between these two pretzels, you got the traditional, you got the dessert pretzel with the cinnamon and the icing. Is there one you prefer over the other? Here's the 3-1 from Ponciano. That one swung on a miss. Good off-speed pitch, and Ponciano right back in this count. It's full.
I think I'm a bit more of a traditional salt and cheese type of fan here.
Well, you can't go wrong with either. Ponciano takes a quick peek over there at Work on first base. And now gets set in a pickoff attempt. Work back sliding. Just a fun atmosphere out here at Hyde Stadium. Each time the Zap take the field. Alex Sheets, the general manager, has been adamant that he wants to take care of the community more than anything else. Runner going, ball is up and away, and that's another walk. So back-to-back free passes from Ponciano, and Jamie Habiger has got a man up and working in the pen. He's going to take his time getting out to talk to Ponciano. Ponciano's been fantastic today, all things considered. He's gotten himself in some jams, gotten out of them, given up a couple unearned runs, so that won't tag the ERA too much. But all in all, Ponciano delivered exactly what the Zap needed. A good start. They've got the lead. Again, it's 5-3. Oahe out in front. And a tough hitter to get out here in Kyle Finn. Finn, a power hitter, can really put one in any part of the ballpark, but Ponciano would love a ground ball here, double play opportunity. You're going to have to turn it quick with the long legs of Kyle Finn standing at 6'7". But between Naruto Saito at short, Trey Runge at second base, and Aiden Johnson over at third, they've got the hands to do it. 2 on, 1 out. Ponciano with a deep breath. That first pitch off speed down in the dirt for ball 1.
Yeah, and you got to get something your defense can work with here. We saw a couple of them hit, or rather kind of chop towards the second baseman Bazanski last night. He couldn't turn those, and if you want to get out of this inning against the tough batter.
That one misses outside for ball 2, and Ponciano getting a little worked up over there. A long look down the first base line into the pure blue sky, just trying to get himself mentally back in this at-bat, back in this inning. Got a great start getting the first batter, but he's lost the previous 2. Finn with an open stance in that right-handed batter's box takes ball 3 up and in. And that bullpen might need to get working a little bit quicker down there.
I think it's Nick Golden working. We've seen him a lot in the outfield here lately. He is a two-way player. These white jerseys, it's pretty hard to tell from this far, but
3-0 in there for strike 1.
The base open, a guy like Finn at the plate, I think if you're going to walk someone, it'd be him, but you don't want to walk these bases loaded with just one man down.
Only problem is you got a power hitter in Jordan Bowman hanging in the balance. Here's the 3-1. That one was swung on. I believe it was fouled, and almost a great play with the ball cap over there by a Seth Nelson, who is not dressed out today, dealing with an injury, we believe. But he almost short hop fielded that ball with his ball cap. That would have been maybe the best play we've seen all day. But Ponciano's worked the count back full after being down 3-0. Let's see if he can put away Finn. Here it is. That one driven down the left field line, taking a left turn and heading foul. And that was Curiel over there in left field trying to assist that ball foul, waving his glove at it. So he can get away.
The ball's cooling off in the creek back there.
That was pounded. So again with the 3-2. Swung on and missed down in the dirt, strike 3. Runners going for third. They're going to try to get him out. Kyle Finn started to go down to first, but knowing that you can't take first on a drop third strike with a runner on first, he turned around and a heads-up play by Mason Lang, firing it down to Aiden Johnson at third. Didn't get the out. Runners now stand at second and third, but there's 2 outs. And that'll bring up Jordan Bowman. So Ponciano 1 out away from getting out of a mega jam here.
That was a good play from Johnson to jump up and snag that one. He got up to bring that one back down.
He sure did. Ponciano would love to get out of this inning, and he starts off Bowman with a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1. Ponciano, when he comes set, he closes off that stance. It's almost as if he's trying to hide the ball and what he's doing with his grip from the batter. Showing his back numbers to the hitter. Bowman drives one right center field. Tracking is Goldberg. He's under it. And Ponciano with a fist bump gets out of the jam. The Squatch put 2 on. They get him to second and third, but they can't do anything more with it. Zap retain the lead. It's 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll be back after this short break on River 92.7.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Heading to the bottom of the fifth inning, Zap leading 5-3. New pitcher on the mound for the Sasquatch. It is Tyler Russ, right-handed pitcher, freshman at the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Cadet.
And a big thanks to Alex Sheets. We were able to sneak a couple bites of both of these pretzels in that break, and my, oh my, am I hooked. I know you said you like the traditional one a little bit better, but for me there, Dylan, that cinnamon pretzel with the icing is speaking to me. Might be the end of the line for Ponciano, but boy, did he have a great finishing act there in the top of the fifth inning to get out of that jam. 5 innings of work for Ponciano gave the Zap more than I think they were hoping for, and he did an outstanding job today. Can't imagine he'll be coming back out for the top of the 6th, but if that is the end of the line, great job from A.J. Ponciano. Tyler Russ is going to feature a fastball, a slider, and a curveball. His fastball tops out about 88 miles an hour. He's a redshirt freshman at the Air Force Academy. He's from Ashburn, Virginia. So he's not too far from home when he's far from home now, but not when he's back at school. And that'll bring up Connor Goldberg for the Oahe Zap. That one's ripped over the third baseman's head. Nick Work couldn't climb the ladder for it. First pitch and a smoked single for Connor Goldberg, and that's a great way to start the bottom of the fifth inning here for the Oahe Zap.
Nice piece of hitting there from Goldberg to get to Russ early here. Was just a nice day here so far for Goldberg. I think we're going to get a pinch runner for him. He was giving the coaches the sign like, I want to stay in, but...
Yeah, he turned immediately as he rounded first and started heading back to the bag. It was the signal where he's using his right hand to cut off at the neck, saying, no, don't pinch run for me. He gets a drink of water from Devin Skelton over there. Not sure if they're buying time for the pinch runner or if they're just letting him cool down. I can't imagine that the umpires would allow this to happen and not let him check out, but he's going to head back to first.
Maybe the umpire, you looked a bit parched there, Connor.
Could be, or maybe the umpires understand that it was 93 degrees. Now, we don't have any clouds in the sky, but the sun is peeked back behind something, pushing a full shade over Hyde Stadium here, much to the enjoyment and pleasure of both of these ball clubs. Trey Runge will step in and takes a strike right down the middle. Tyler Rust has got an interesting delivery. He kind of cocks that right arm, doesn't get it all the way back. If you're a golf fan, it's much like John Rahm's backswing. As that one swung on a miss, gets away from the catcher, Carson Rather, but staying there at first base. not going anywhere is Connor Goldberg. So now I'm curious of what that signal was for.
Yeah.
Maybe it worked. Maybe he was pleading with his coaching staff to let him stay in the game, and that little signal over there to him in the dugout, maybe that paid off. Maybe that's all they needed to say, all right, Goldberg, we'll keep you out there.
Well, after that pitch got away from the catcher, he kind of gave the tap on the chest over to Coach Habiger, like, that's on me, like I probably should have stole there. Like,
yeah, he may have made Jamie regret his decision to keep him in the game. I think about 8 other guys in this 9-man lineup would be standing on second right now.
I mean, the guy warming up the bullpen, Nick Golden, if he would have came in for the outfielder, probably would have been safe.
Russ with a very interesting setup. As he delivers the 0-2, that's taken outside, just barely missing the zone. When he brings the ball in his mitt, it looks like he comes set, but then he lifts it up about 3 inches, and then lifts it up 3 inches closer to his chest again, and then lifts it up once more. And while he's doing that, he's placing that left foot again as this one's lifted high into left center field. Underneath it is Martinez. He calls off the center fielder, Kyle Finn, and records the first down of the inning. Another thing that might have played into that motion over there to the first base dugout from Connor Goldberg, I see him stretching and working out that left leg quite a bit.
He's got his hands on his hip kind of stretching out, and I don't know if they're going to get him here.
Jamie Habiger is now signaling over to the dugout. He wants a pinch runner for Connor Goldberg.
I think it's an out too late. I think that if they definitely should have got him on that last one, because Saito at the plate, if you had a runner at second, this would be a perfect bunt for him, as it's going to be Cole Ottersberg coming in to pinch run for him.
So the utility man who found his way onto the mound yesterday, Cole Ottersberg, going to run for Goldberg. And it'll be interesting. I know Dylan will be on top of that about what Connor Goldberg's trying to stretch out over there. He was doing some left leg movements, kind of lifting up that knee and rotating it over to the left. And then after the ensuing pitch, he was leaning his torso over. Looked like he was trying to stretch out his lower back.
I would not be shocked to see Ottersberg try to go here on this first pitch and then set yourself up to maybe get bunted across by Saito.
Ottersberg wrapping up that left-handed oven mitt as Naruto Saito takes a breaking ball down and in for ball 1. That oven mitt that those guys wear, that's designed to stop any balls from hitting off of the hand and doing any damage to the fingers. As Saito slides out of the way of ball 2. Although you often see Ottersberg has got it on his left hand standing at first, you often see it put on the right hand, trying to prevent throws over from the pitcher on pickoff attempts from contacting that hand. So you don't often see it on the left hand, but that's where Ottersberg has got it.
Well, he's also dealing with a bit of a finger injury on that left hand, so that might be typically on his right hand.
2-0 pitch misses inside, and Naruto has worked it back to a 3-0 count. Throwback gets away from Russ, but Ottersberg will stay put.
Saito threatening to get his third straight walk. They might be a bit scared of him, too.
So Saito with good patience at the plate. He's walked a couple times today, looking to make it yet another. Casually tapping that bat on his left shoulder, now sticks it straight up into the sky and takes strike 1.
Russ, I think he definitely has the most unique windup we've probably seen so far this year.
It's a lot of moving parts.
And like the arm,
he never draws the arm too far back as Saito, not swinging, takes strike 2. He never drops it down. The ball never gets around his belt on his pitching motion. He just kind of pulls it out of the glove, stops it when it's at about a 90-degree angle, meaning his elbow. There goes Ottersberg on the 3-2 pitch. That's going to be called strike 3. Throw down to second is dropped. Cole Ottersberg would have been in there safely regardless. And now Saito standing there with his hands on his hips. Can't believe that was called strike 3.
There was a few questionable ones to get him out of that 3-0 count there, and Coach Habiger can't believe it over there at third base either.
Well, it took Saito a while to get off the playing field. He took a couple looks back at Richard Gilmore, the home plate umpire. But to Gilmore's credit, he's been consistent. He's had a pretty generous zone today, but it's been both ways, and that's really all you can ask for out of an umpiring crew. 2 outs and a big swing and a miss from Emiliano Curiel. Would love to see Curiel drop one into center field. Ottersburg's going to be running on contact with 2 outs. A base hit anywhere scores the 6th run of the ball game for the Zap. They lead 5-3. Curiel, deja vu from that first pitch, swing and a miss. Count runs 0-2.
Aggressive swings here from Curiel. Some pretty cleats he's got on tonight.
Curiel taps the plate a couple times, works through his motion. Now Russ is set. Quick peek back at Ottersburg. Ottersburg going for third. That one's ripped up the middle, and a perfect hit-and-run situation on an 0-2 count, and Curiel drives in the 6th run of the ball game. It's a 3-run lead for the Zap. Curiel and that Zap dugout are fired up, and a perfect pinch-run situation. Ottersburg stole second. He took third on the hit-and-run, and he was able to turn around third and head for home on the base hit by Emiliano Curiel.
And, I mean, that reaction tells you everything you need to know about Emiliano Curiel. One of the favorite guys in this dugout, and they're always going nuts when he gets a hit.
Well, Curiel swung and missed at 2 breaking balls. Russ tried to come back with a 3rd breaking ball. Curiel was ready for it, and he hit it right where we were asking him to, into shallow center field. And Ottersburg came home flying around third, and the Zap out in front 6-3 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th.
That's back-to-back calls where we've predicted a play like as it's happening.
You know, we want to keep doing it as strike 1 is taken by Andrew Phillips, but we're batting 1,000 right now.
We promise we don't have a magic ball up here.
We don't.
We might need Eli Lewis to predict one tomorrow.
Throw over to first base, back sliding is Curiel.
We talked about the homer yesterday. You just did Curiel there, and then you might need Eli Lewis to have a hot take.
Eli's got his hands full with that scoreboard over there on the Facebook stream. He's not the only one having trouble with a scoreboard here tonight, as that one bounced in.
We don't got the frames here in Hyde Stadium.
We've got the score, we've got the count, we've got the outs, along with the names, or the shortened names of both of these teams, but we don't have the runs by inning.
Got it on my phone on Game Changer, though.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Going is Curiel. Pitch is in there for a strike. Bounce throw. Gets by the shortstop, Ben Foyer. And now we've got another runner on second base. So Phillips has got a 2-1 count, a runner on second base, and a speedy one at that.
2-out rally. See if Phillips can deliver here.
Something the Squatch did yesterday well, hitting with 2 outs. Of course, some of those runs were assisted by Zap errors. Been a cleaner game for the Zap. They still have 2 errors today, but they haven't really cost them many runs, as that one is swung on and missed by Phillips, and that will retire the side. But the Zap do score a run. They lead 6-3 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. You're listening live here on River 92.7.
The summer is here, and you know what that means. The Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night. So get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River 92.7 Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group.
Back here for the Bracky Financial Bucket Toss. One of our favorite games here at the park. Get a couple of new contestants here today. Saw our friend with the Pier Wildcats win it yesterday. We'll see what these 2 fans can cook up. We got one fan that's a lot closer to the bucket than the other, but they're both 2 for 2 right now, as they kind of dropped off towards the end, but both 3-3 right now. We'll see who wins it. Maybe we'll get this golden money ball here today.
That is a tough money ball. She's going with the underhand ski ball toss. Oh, on the line.
Skip it. Oh,
well, neither player in this mid-inning game made it, but those are two of the best, I would say, chances and tries that we've seen. Those scared the green bucket that sits about 15 yards away.
That first one especially looked like it was maybe going to skip on in there, but...
So did we ever figure out the discrepancy in balls and strikes there from the previous inning? Because everybody up in the broadcast booth thought there was only one strike, including myself, but everybody on the field reacted like there was two strikes on that strikeout call.
I mean, the umps came and talked about it. I mean, they didn't come back out. They didn't give Phillips a second chance, so they must have had something different than what we saw. But Game Changer had one strike. The scoreboard had one strike. Richard Gilmore had two strikes, and to make a call, you got to stick with it as Sam Nopnoski comes to the plate. Nick Golden on the bump. First pitch for him this year is off for a ball. Nick Golden, he listed himself as a pitcher on Media Day, but this is the first time we've seen him pitch. He's a two-way player. He played for the Bison last year, hit quite a bit. Is that one in there for strike one? But Golden, we had mentioned he's the league leader. We're going to just call him the league leader because I can't imagine there's another batter who's been plunked 7 times. We'll see if he can try not to hit 7 batters here tonight. As the 1-1 swung foul for strike 2. A quick start here for Golden to head in the count. Would love to get his first K here. Was former roommates with our beloved Brooks Cartwright in the marketing team. Got promoted to the big show. Got a host family of his own the other day. Moved out of the Zap house. Nick was awfully sad to see his roommate go, but getting a bit more space as the 1-2. Fouled back off just about the exact same spot as last time.
And a lot of props to these host families for bringing in a stranger over the summer. You never know. I mean, it seems like these are families that have done this in the past, so they know kind of what to expect, but it's a tall task taking care of a baseball player, a couple media members as well.
We love our host families. Can't say thank you enough as that one is belted just past Runge. Goldberg to his knees, making the play and right. But a 2-strike hit there, leadoff single for Nopnoski. Now Golden can have to turn his attention to Chase Scott for the oh-so-hot Peyton Fort in the on-deck circle.
And this is where the Zap really need to lock in. They lead by 3 runs, but such a great start by A.J. Ponciano. You want to pay him off.
As that one swung on a miss for strike 1. And Nick Golden, for this being his first pitching appearance of the year, is working very effectively. First pitch strikes, oh so key in this modern era. As the 0-1 popped up. New first baseman Quinn Ludvigsen was giving chase, but going to hit that Envirotech Waste Services sign on top of the dugout. Ludvigsen, the defensive substitution for Ty Farwell, he slots over to third base, so Ludvigsen subs in for Johnson. So the infield now, Farwell, Saito, Runge, Ludvigsen. Laying behind the dish still. The outfield remains unchanged. Goldberg was allowed to stay in. Or no, Goldberg was hooked. That was Ottersberg now out in right field, I believe. We will get that sorted as the 0-2. Golden wanted to check on the runner. Now that one runs inside. Say it didn't get him. Say he leaned into that one. Strike 3.
Wow. That's an interesting little...
I don't think I've seen that
was
type
an
of ring
interesting
up this year.
sequence, and Justice Scott is going to come out and have a chat with Richard Gilmore. That turned into a 2 runners on and nobody out to runner on first still and 1 out.
I don't think I've seen someone get rung up like that.
And what's interesting, too, is Sam Nopnoski didn't get the opportunity to take second base on that one, which he could have because it was a passed ball. Mason Lang wasn't able to field that pitch cleanly.
Well,
so a huge break there for the Zap.
And maybe a guy like Gilmore behind the plate, he knows Nick Golden has experience getting hit, and Nick Golden's like, that one didn't hit him naturally. maybe, I mean, he's been hit 7 times. You got to take his word for it a little bit as he gets one out in a very different way than we're used to, as that one misses for ball 1.
And a big out there, too, because the last thing you want to do is put 2 runners on and put the tying run at the plate in Peyton Fort.
Yeah, and with the league leader in hits at the plate, was a crucial out for Golden his first outing, as that one misses outside. A good play there from Lang to keep the runner at first. That one drifting into that right-handed batter's box, but Lang was quick to it and quick to his feet to keep Nopnoski honest over at first. 2-0 now from Golden. Nods the sign and delivers. Outside for ball 3. And maybe just a bit of trying to pitch around the hot hand. You've seen Peyton Fort kind of hurt you a bit already in this series. You're good at turning double plays. As that one, the red light given to Fort in there for strike 1 for Golden. Still a very hitter-friendly count. The 3-1 from Golden out of Sacramento, California. That one belted back the other way. Goldberg giving chase, gets down, gets all the way to the wall. The relay back in will be a double. Runner stops at third. But the hot hand continues here for the Sasquatch, and Peyton Fort continuing a great campaign.
Yeah, and Justice Scott's got to be a little unpleased there, knowing that that pitch, had it had been ruled a hit by pitch, and they would have been picking up a run on that double into the right field corner. But no damage done. Now runners on second and third for the Squatch and a meeting at the mound.
Meeting at the mound here early for Golden. One away already. A guy warming up in that Zap bullpen. It's Hudson Ivy. He's one that's a bit easier to pick up, a sidearm thrower. These numbers on these jerseys, while it is a very beautiful jersey, it is kind of hard to tell when a guy is getting warmed up in that bullpen kind of who it is with the all-white numbering.
This jersey and the camouflage jersey don't make it real easy for us broadcasters to figure out who's who.
And the
camouflage number on their back.
Camouflage jersey makes it hard to just see him out in the ballpark. I mean, it's like just floating legs out there as Golden misses for ball 1.
You tell a lot of dad jokes, Dylan?
Yeah, I do. I get it from the best in the game, Kenneth Beach. Shout out to him as Saito going to make the play to first. One will score for the Sasquatch, but Golden getting one out away here.
And that's good by Saito. Not the toughest play to make, but with runners on second and third, you can start to peek up at those lead runners as an infielder. And sometimes it creates an error, but Saito trading the out for the run. And now they got 2, 1 out away here.
And a guy like Martinez at the plate, and it looked like a minute for Saito thought the runner was still at first because he kind of looked at second as Martinez chops Alandarungi. The play over to Ludvigsen in time. Only 1 scores against Golden. Will be back at the bottom of the 6th. The Zap leads 6-4.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
A nice little moment there in between the innings. Umpires are people, too. And they give Richard Gilmore a well-deserved cup of water from the Oahe Zap dugout.
You think that came after he ruled that batter out instead of hit by a pitch?
Nick Golden should have been the one bringing it out to him, I think. But a nice moment there as Quinn Ludvigsen comes to the plate.
And he's in need. You can see the sweat stains working through that blue jersey worn by Richard Gilmore. And you have an inkling he might be headed to the Long Branch after tonight's game.
Yeah, we saw him there last night for the post-game meal, and he had himself a nice big old beer. And honestly, on a hot night like tonight, I might be joining him for one later too.
Well, I'm glad somebody will be.
As Ludvigsen in the game. Came in at first base. His first action here today. As Tyler Russ misses for ball one. Tyler Russ, we've already mentioned his unique kind of wind-up and toss. He's a very unique man as well, as we'll get into that. The 1-0 fouled off for strike one. Tyler Russ, the son of a former NFL player, Steve Russ, played for the Broncos for a few years there, was also an Air Force cadet, and is now a part of their football coaching staff, so it's runs in the family, the Air Force pipeline.
Good for Tyler. He's built like a football player, too. Could play free safety on any squad.
1-1 off speed, misses there for ball two. Russ, I think, thought he was going to get that call, but Russ, I wonder what kind of regiment they got to have him doing in Spearfish to keep ready to get back to the Air Force.
It's probably not the Squatch that are doing it. He's probably the one that implemented it himself.
As
when you come from a military family like that, it's basically wired into you.
That one misses outside for ball three. I wonder if in the hotel he's got the bugle on his phone waking him and his teammates up. As we'll see if he can get back into this count. 3-1 swung on by Ludvigsen for strike two. That was kind of a missed call. I should have let Brooks know that we had an Air Force cadet get some of those bugles in the soundboard. That would have might have made him feel like he was at home. He might have been pitching.
Might have scared him.
Yeah. The 3-2 to Ludvigsen, swung on and missed. Russ gets the K to start the bottom of the sixth. As Ty Farwell comes to the plate, Ludvigsen came in for Aiden Johnson and slid Farwell across the diamond to third. And Ty Farwell, a good start to his season. He walked earlier and scored, as he has just had a nice start. And whenever the team returns a guy like Mason Lang, the team MVP last year, for you to be making it kind of a toss-up on who you're going to be able to throw behind the plate every night is just an impressive thing on his own, as that one is fouled off for strike one into the netting.
Especially when you have as deep of a catcher's room as the Zap do. A lot of really talented players that play back behind the plate. And it kind of reminds me of the Alabama Crimson Tide running back room, where you got all these great players, and they didn't want to go somewhere else to get playing time. They wanted to outperform each other.
That's kind of what Lang and Farwell have been doing so far this season. We saw Lang homer in game one of that Casper series, and then Ty Farwell, not to be outdone, does it in game three. We'll see who gets the race to two. Lang only hit 3 homers last year. I was kind of joking with him. I was like, you're well ahead of pace here. He said he didn't think he hit his first until well into the month of June, maybe even July last year. So Mason Lang trying to set a new high total for himself as a Zap player. Farwell ahead in the count, 2-1, as he fouls that one off for strike two. That one loud off the Hyde Stadium grandstand, skips back towards the merch trailer. As Farwell now even in the count. The Oahe Zap out hitting the Spearfish Sasquatch only 6-5, but still have a 2-run lead, 6-4 in this one. As that one swung out and missed, Farwell goes down for the second straight K for Russ. It'll bring Palizzi to the plate with 2 away.
Tyler Russ has done a nice job settling in, especially after giving up a couple of sharp hits there in the last inning.
I gave up the 1-run last inning. as he's done a nice job tackling arguably the hardest part of this Zap lineup, as he misses on the offering to Polizzi. Vince Polizzi, another one of those guys, a fan favorite on this team, and when you return for a second year and you can hit the ball as far as he can, it's hard not to like the guy. As the 1-0 now from Russ. Catches the zone for strike one. And Vince Polizzi, a part-time intern this year, has been helping out whenever he can when he's not playing or practicing. Him and Jack Pates, the kind of 1-2 duo out of the intern room, came to appear together as that one skips in and catches Gilmore.
This is when, as a catcher, you call time and fumble the ball a little bit. Get a new one, go out, talk to your pitcher, give the umpire some extra recovery time there to recoup. He and Polizzi having a nice little laugh. Polizzi's probably telling him, "You think that's bad? We've been hit like that about 15 times thus far."
He was probably like, "Better you than me." I mean, he's got the protective gear on.
Doesn't feel so good, does it?
Maybe he's got a bit of empathy for the runner he called out on the hit by pitch earlier, as Polizzi just about gets hit himself for ball three. Like, there's been allegations in this Pacers playoff run that there's been magnets in the rim, and I'd like to argue that there's magnets in the ball and then magnets or maybe some metal shins for some of these Zap players, as that one inside for strike two.
Something's going on because the Zap just cannot seem to catch a break with all these pitches that come inside and hit them.
Maybe there's something in the water just attracting the ball to them. As the payoff pitch here from Russ. Misses down low. Polizzi held up on the check swing. I don't know why the catcher's going to tag. They do the appeal, but Polizzi nowhere near going on that one. Not even sure that would get checked on MLB The Show.
I think Carson Rather just doing his due diligence, trying to steal that last out. Zap have had some pretty fortuitous two-out hitting here in this ball game, so Rather, knowing that, probably trying to avoid another two-out rally here from the Zap.
Yeah, and doing just that. I mean, you try to take one wherever you want, maybe argue to the ump, "You owe us one. You called us out on a hit by pitch earlier," but Gilmore not going to give it to him, as Polizzi trying to get back in time there. Just in time. Chase Scott trying that, what'd you call it earlier on the tag?
The pinwheel.
The pinwheel tag once again. As that one skipped in for ball one to Lang. Polizzi was looking like he was thinking about stealing, but was quick to get back to the bag. Polizzi not the fastest. It doesn't really fit his kind of archetype as a power hitter, but we really saw him chugging along when he scored earlier. Definitely enjoyed some of that ice-cold water in the dugout afterwards, as the count evened up one apiece to Lang. Russ doing a nice job this inning, settling back in his second inning of work as Lang fouls that one off.
Yeah, that last strike on the first one of this at-bat, it was another appeal, but it didn't even come from Carson Rather. It came from the dugout over there from the Sasquatch. Them pleading with Gilmore to check. Gilmore did, and Dylan Turner said it was a strike.
The 1-2 to Lang. Swung on and missed. Russ gets 3 Ks. They strand Polizzi. Be right back here at the top of the 7th from historic Hyatt Stadium.
Things in life you can't control. Your in-laws just bought a new house right next door. Construction is behind schedule, so you have to detour to work again. That car next to you just lost control and swerved into your lane. Things in life you can control. Wearing your seatbelt. In South Dakota, over 55% of those who die in a car crash aren't buckled up. Control what you can. Always wear your seatbelt.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Dunes Golf is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer. They look forward to seeing old friends and new acquaintances on the driving range and on the course throughout the summer. Play 9 or 18 holes, pay by the round, save with a punch card, or become a member for unlimited play. Dunes Golf is a great location for group outings or a summer play day. Call 605-223-2525 or see golfdunes.com. Just 1 mile north of Fort Pierre on Highway 1806. Dunes Golf.
Get ready, Central South Dakota. Oahe Days in Pierre is back, June 20th and 21st at Steamboat Park.
It's the annual music and arts festival you don't want to miss. Live music, amazing food, local vendors, carnival rides, a beer garden, and so much more.
Friday night, it's 90s party band, the Mallrats.
And Saturday, country fans, Struggle Jennings takes the stage.
The 3 bands each night start at 5 p.m.
Grab the full lineup and details now at oahedays.com.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Great ball game working here between the Zap and the Sasquatch. Game 2 of this 4-game set. It's 6-4. Zap out in front as we head to the top of the 7th inning here at Hyde Stadium. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart alongside Dylan Beach. Perfect night for baseball. Boy, was it hot earlier today, but the sun has gone down. The temperature gone down with it. Cool afternoon, and the sidewinder Hudson Ivy on the bump. And you've gotten to see a little bit of this guy, and it only took you one pitch to tell who was on the mound, Dylan.
Yeah, and then when he's the only guy out of the bullpen who kind of throws in that arm slot, Austin Arocha also kind of throws some pitches, kind of that sidearm. Some of them will call it submarine. I'm not quite comfortable calling it that because it's kind of out of that sidearm. They're not really kind of flicking up on it, but
I've had that same argument, conversation, heated discussion, whatever you want to call it, with a couple buddies back home. They swear that this guy Hudson Ivy would be a submarine pitcher. Now, he drops that elbow when he comes through his delivery, but the arm still comes through on top. So we're going to stick with sidewinder, as Dylan and I find ourselves in agreement on that.
I don't know. I just can't quite call it the submarine. Like, you see the submarine pitchers we've kind of seen, the greats in the MLB, but it's kind of more out of that sidearm slot. I want to know what kind of Alex Sheets, because he said he kind of threw out of that sidearm slot / submarine. Kind of see where he was thrown out of and what he kind of thinks on this take.
6-4, Zap in front, top of the 7th inning here.
I believe Nick Work still at the plate.
As the Zap faithful and Zap fans who made it out to Hyde Stadium have been treated to a great one here this afternoon. Ivy's first pitch misses just a bit low for ball 1. Boy, would this be a big win for the Zap, especially after yesterday afternoon. One of those losses that you just want to forget about, bury it in the sand. That pitch is in there for a strike. Nice pop of the mid on that fastball from Hudson Ivy. A lot of life on that pitch. Ivy comes set and a quick peek over to third base. Nobody there but his buddy Ty Farwell. That pitch way outside. That'll be a 2-1 count.
Yeah, Hudson Ivy. We saw him in that Casper series, inherited bases loaded. Hit a couple of guys, but really tried to fight out of that jam.
As this one catches the inside corner for strike 2. Good pitch. So Ivy 1 strike away from getting the first out of the inning. Here comes the 2-2. Drilled towards right, but curling foul. And going to clear the fence. Nick Work in the right-handed batter's box for the Squatch. Carson Rather on deck. Here comes the 2-2 again. That one misses down and away for ball 3. Count runs full. Jake Daly has assumed his position in right field now. He's real comfortable out there in the outfield, but doesn't look like he is right now. It looks like he's battling some of those patented South Dakota mosquitoes. Here's the 3-2 from Ivy. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Ball gets away from Lang, and Nick Work didn't realize it, but a nice play over there at first base by Quinn Ludvigsen. Picks the throw out of the dirt from Mason Lang. And I got to tell you, Nick Work was really upset with himself for missing that pitch. And if he had started down to first after it got through the legs of Mason Lang, he might have been standing there safely. But he was beating himself up over the strikeout, wasn't paying attention. And the Zap's stolen out there. So 1 out, nobody on for the Zap.
Yeah, Lang didn't even go for it because he was taking his time getting out of the batter's box. I liked Ludvigsen after he got the ball in his glove, kind of showed it to the ump like he was a kid catching a foul ball, showing it to his parents.
Well, that was a nice play over there by Quinn Ludvigsen. Carson Rather at the plate. Sun just trying to peek back through. Bleeding out onto the infield. Got most of the outfield enveloped. And now this is kind of that difficult time for hitters that we were talking about yesterday, where shadows take up part of the infield, right where the pitcher is. Some sunlight comes through as that breaking ball is in there for a strike. And it can make it difficult for a hitter to read the ball out of the pitcher's hand. That one misses low in the dirt. Count runs 3-1. Much, much nicer feeling out there on the field. And now we get another ball coming loose from the bullpen down the left field line. A nice throw there from Carson Rather back to his bullpen. About 200 feet down the line. In there for ball 4, and the Zap dugout thought it was strike 2. They were audible about that one, but it's a free pass, and that puts the Sasquatch on first. 10-degree difference from first pitch to now. Temperature gauge reads 83, and that's about perfect.
Yeah,
especially with a breeze picking up, moving from left to right across the field. The flag is fully taunt out there in right center.
Picture perfect night once again here in Pierce, South Dakota.
Kyle Finn now at the plate, and he takes the ball up and away. Almost feels like Gilmore has shrunken down his zone a little bit as the game's gone on. Some of these pitches were strikes earlier today. That one misses outside, and that was clearly a ball. But the one before that, especially with a tall hitter, felt like it might have caught some of the zone.
And even the one going back to the last batter for ball 4, it's been a couple that I feel like might have been strikes earlier in this day.
Pickoff attempt to first base, backsliding is Rather.
I mean, it has gotten cooler, so maybe he's reverting back to the perfect baseball weather strike zone.
He's feeling pretty comfortable back there now. Got his water from the Zap dugout, got some shade as the game is drawn on. This one misses high. Now the count runs 3-0. And this is not what you want to be doing if you're Hudson Ivy. You've got 1 out after the strikeout, but you've put a runner on first, and now you're a ball away from losing Finn and putting runners on first and second. Here's the 3-0. That's down low, nowhere near the zone, and it's a 4-pitch walk. And Mason Lang wants to go out and chat with Hudson Ivy and try to calm him down a little bit. Nobody up and working in the Zap bullpen. And that'll bring up Jordan Bowman, the designated hitter.
And a dangerous part of this Spearfish lineup, I mean, you got a couple of batters until Peyton Fort, but even then it's not exactly a walk in the park, as you would love a ball on the ground to Saito or Farwell, see if you can turn it across.
The Zap are just 8 outs away from getting this win, the first win of this series, which would be their 3rd win at home. A win by the Zap today would put them at 5-8 on the season, would put the Sasquatch back to an even 500 at 7-7. Especially with this shrunken playoff format, wins are so crucial. Trey Runge keeping the runner close at second. There was a nice pitch from Hudson Ivy in there for strike 1 to Jordan Bowman. Bowman with a deep squat in that right-handed batter's box, couple waggles of the wooden bat. The 0-1 swung on and missed. Big swing on the curveball, and now it's 0-2. How big would a strikeout here be? Zap still leading 6-4. Squatch with runners on first and second and one out. Here's the 0-2. Waste pitch. Down and away. Ball 1.
Got to see if he'll chase with 0-2. I mean,
that's a smart pitch. You're sitting 0-2. You got one to waste, maybe two to waste, and you don't want to groove one. We saw Curiel score a very important insurance run on an 0-2 count earlier in this ball game for the Zap. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Great pitch from Ivy. Great sequence there from Ivy. Started him with a fastball, came back with a breaking ball, missed on the 0-2 pitch with a breaking ball down and away, and went right back to that fastball in on the inner half, and he got Bowman swinging. So 2 outs, runners on first and second now, and that'll bring up Sam Napnaski, another dangerous hitter in this Sasquatch rotation. Napnaski with good power, swings and fans on another breaking ball, 0-1.
I mean, baseball is so much of it's a confidence game, and Hudson Ivy just moving a bit differently after those 2 walks.
And I am very cautious to say, but a deep ball to right field is going to get assist from the wind. That one swung on, fouled away, and quickly 0-2. So now Ivy 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Ivy with a long look in. He comes set, ball at the belt. The 0-2 pitch, down in the dirt, nice stop by Mason Lang, keeps both runners put. Rather shifted his weight like he was about to try to take third. But trailing by 2 runs, the last thing you want to do if you're the Sasquatch is run into outs. Especially that would with 1 out, that would end a threatening inning. Now Noski waiting. Ivy is set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's fouled sharply down the left field line. And there goes a fan wanting a free slush. He's got his pockets full. I'm not sure what's hanging out in those pockets, but they're flopping all over the place. And that young man's about to lose his shorts going for that foul ball. And one thing the fans have done, they've fashioned a little escape route down there by the fence line where it kind of goes perpendicular. He's climbing his way over. The 1-2 fouled off again.
Staying alive, fighting here versus Ivy.
Napnaski, a really talented hitter. Napnaski plays his baseball at Doane University. Here's the 1-2 offering once again. Just a bit high, ball 2. A couple of young Zap fans along the netting there turning around with their mouths dropped in disbelief.
Zap dugout thought they had him too.
And now look at these young fans. They're really on top of Gilmore behind home plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runners on. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And is Hudson Ivy pumped about that one? He's going to be greeted by nearly the whole Zap team coming out of the dugout. The Squatch had 2 on. Hudson Ivy gets out of it. We head to the bottom of the 7th. It's time to stretch here at Hyde Stadium. 6-4. Zap out in front.
In Central South Dakota, the Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre's Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Nothing like hearing Take Me Out to the Ball game during the 7th inning stretch when the Zap are in front, 6-4 lead. Justin Cowart, Dylan Beach bringing you back to Hyde Stadium here as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Temperatures dropping, winds picking up, and a new pitcher here for the Sasquatch. It's Hudson Hart. Man, this is going to be a fastball that the Zap are going to try to catch up with. Boy, is he pumping it in there.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it without a gun, he is getting all the dust off these baseballs when it hits the catcher's glove. He's really smoking these in there.
We've seen enough guys who top out about 88, 89 to know that he's throwing at least 90.
If I had to guess, it's got to be high 80s, maybe low 90s. And, in Independence League, that would have you at one of the top velos in this one as Jake Daly to the plate. See if he can catch up with one of those fastballs. He's had a lot of doubles already this year.
So it'll be Jake Daly leading things off. Caden Bazanski will hit after him. And we'll see if there's any more changes. Looks like Naruto Saito in the hole.
So Bazanski will come in at second for Trey Runge.
We'll get all of those adjustments made on our boards here. Jake Daly has been playing in right field. And now he steps into the right-handed batter's box. Here's the first pitch from Hart. Swung on and fouled through the legs of Daly and back towards the brick wall behind home plate. Good thing they got those lights on when they did. This shade came in a lot sooner than I think we expected it to. I guess now we're seeing the clouds that were blocking out the sun as that one misses down and away off behind us. Starting to float over top. The wind, as we mentioned, has really picked up here.
Yeah, from the breezes I've felt blow in through our small gap for our crowd mic, it just felt nice out.
There's that fastball up in the zone. Jake Daly couldn't catch up to it, and 1-2 is the count. And this guy, Hudson Hart, seems like the perfect guy to bring in this situation when you need to keep a game close. That one's grounded. Third base side takes an eat-em-up hop off of Nick Work. And that was nothing against Nick Work. That's got to be ruled a hit. That looked routine the whole way until it took the last bounce and then hopped over the left shoulder, and Nick Work, he did all he could to try to rotate his body and contort his upper half to knock that one down, but a fortuitous bounce there for Jake Daly puts him on first, and now Caden Bazanski. We're trying to move him over. Nobody out here at the bottom of the 7th. Bazanski gonna set up way in the back of that left-handed batter's box and takes a fastball in the outside corner of the zone for strike one.
And we were talking about Hart, kind of a prototypical setup guy. He typically goes about 2 innings and try to keep it where it's at. Maybe a bit of an investment if you can strike in the next time up.
Check swing, takes the ball up high. And we talked about it. The bugaboo last year for the Zap was their bullpen pitching. They would go into the late half of games with a lead and just couldn't get it done. Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second, high, and in sliding safely is Jake Daly. A good throw might have gone him, but the speed of Jake Daly gets underneath the tag, and it's a 1-2 count to Bazanski, but now he's got a runner in scoring position. And an interesting setup for Isaac Martinez over in left field. He is shaded way over towards center. And with the fastball of Hudson Hart, you would think he'd maybe want to play closer to the left field line, knowing that a left-handed hitter might hit one the other way. Bazanski goes down to fight that one off. A good breaking ball from Hudson Hart, spoiled by Caden Bazanski.
Just trying to stay alive here, see if there's an off-speed pitch that you can really punish here, and if anything, get this pitch count up for the flamethrower.
7 hits for the Zap, only 5 for the Sasquatch. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Hart. Oh, man, just staying alive. Bazanski just putting the bat over the plate. Caught him right above the hands, just above that bat tape, but it caught a piece of wood, And bounce foul over towards third base coach Jamie Habiger. Bozansky choked up. Hart a long look over at second. Now delivers and a swing and a miss on the fastball for strike 3. Pure pumping heat right down the middle for Hudson Hart, and that'll bring up Naruto Saito. He had a quick question for Bozansky, and now Bozansky giving his scouting report to the next couple of hitters. Emiliano Curiel on deck for the Zap. Saito's had a good patient day at the plate, drawn a couple walks.
Yeah, would have had another, went down on a couple of pitches that just caught the zone.
That one's going to bounce past Carson Rather, and on his way to third is Jake Daly. So that's one issue you get when you get a real fast pitcher like Hudson Hart. Anything down in the dirt is going to drive up the difficulty to stop a couple notches, as it did there. No chance for Rather to stop that one, and now Saito.
We're going to lay down a bunt here.
Well, he's got the entire Squatch infield playing in. All 4 infielders with their toes on the grass. Here's the 1-0. That one's blocked by Rather through his legs, but not far enough away for Jake Daly to try to steal home. So the Squatch, understanding the situation, they trail 6-4. This would be a massive insurance run for the Zap if they could pick it up.
And a great bunter at the plate. You got to keep him honest, but the 2-0 count, Saito, he's definitely got the power if he can swing on one to loop this out into the outfield.
Oh, the fastball like Hart's, all you got to do is put the bat on it. That one's down and inside for ball 3.
And Saito showing off the quick feet here, having to jump out of the way out of a couple of these fastballs.
He's done that a lot tonight. And going back to your last point, there was some disbelief and a little bit of argument from Saito with Gilmore. Here's the 3-0. That one is in there for strike 1. Saito with a couple looks back to home plate umpire Richard Gilmore on his way back to the dugout after his last strikeout. That one misses high. No, they're gonna give him the ball 4. I'll tell you, Gilmore signaled like it was a strike, but he was pointing Saito down to first base.
I was a little worried there for a minute because that one was well outside.
And that'll bring out Sasquatch head coach Justice Scott. Wants to talk it over with Hudson Hart. And one thing that'll do is it does put the double play in play for the Squatch, but the only issue for that is you got Curiel at the plate, who is a speedy runner in his own regard.
And also, if you're going to get set up to try to get out of the inning with the double play, you might have to have a few guys come back off that bunt, so if Curiel lays down one here, could score that insurance run just the same.
Well, we've yet to see a suicide squeeze here in the 2025 season. No reason we couldn't see one here. Jake Daly, a quick runner over on third base. The issue is you just got to get that bunt down. And before Scott came out to the mound, it looked like the middle infield was already making their way back to their normal playing positions, and that's where Ben Fourier and Peyton Ford are going to set up here.
We'll probably see that third baseman creep up as the count unfolds and then get back to his spot with 2 strikes, but right now playing pretty standard over there.
We also see Seth Nelson checked in for the Sasquatch over at first base. So he is taking the place of Chase Scott. First pitch to Curiel is in there for strike 1. That one looked down and away from up here, drew some boos and some grunts from the Zap dugout. So the count runs 0-1. That one misses just a bit high. Curiel works the count back to 1-1.
Curiel got to find a way to get this run across. He had a clutch hit earlier.
Well, a pop fly into anywhere in the outfield will work. That one down and away. Saito taking second base. Throw gets away from Peyton Ford, and the Squatch are going to gift the Zap a huge insurance run. Jake Daly going to just stroll across home plate. Not a little surprised that Carson Rather threw that ball down to second, but the Zap will take it. Saito makes his way to third, and it's 7-4. Zap extending their lead.
Yeah, and that was a shocker from Rather. I mean, they had him out, but they couldn't keep it in the glove, and Saito will go all the way to third. And now just another runner on thuried base.
So Curiel, he gets whacked with that pitch, and that has got to hurt. He is definitely feeling that one. Wore it right between the numbers. I'd have to guess that was a low 90s fastball right off the middle of the spine for Curiel.
Saw him wince instantly.
Yeah, but you could see it from up here. He kind of turned the front of his body towards our broadcast booth, and he had his eyes shut and his teeth showing as he was definitely feeling the pain of that.
Maybe the Peter Griffin, like.
He's definitely still oohing and ahhing over there on first base, but that'll bring up the center fielder, Andrew Phillips, with runners on first and third and only one out. Big swing and a miss at a fastball, draws strike one.
And after the last bunt we saw Phillips put down, it's no surprise that they have him coming out here swinging.
Phillips popped out to the pitcher on a bunt attempt. Runner going. Rather not going to throw this one. He pump fakes the throw down. Learned his lesson on the last attempt. And Curiel not hurting too bad. He was able to get down to second in the blink of an eye. And now we'll see if Andrew Phillips can push a base hit somewhere into these two gaps in the outfield, driving two more runs. Infield back in on the grass. Phillips with a big swing and a miss for strike two. And one benefit the Zap get here with the Sasquatch infield playing in is Emiliano Curiel gets to take a very generous lead over there on second base. Hart comes set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That is taken inside for ball two, and the Sasquatch dugout really wanted that one. I think Jamie Habiger is counting his blessings over there. We saw him turn and walk away shaking his head. I don't think he wants Andrew Phillips taking a 1-2 pitch like that. I think he wants to see him protect the plate, but it works back to 2-2, and here it is. Swung on and missed, blows the fastball right by him.
Just not the at-bat Phillips wanted there, but just maybe lucky he didn't go down the pitch before. It was close call from Gilmore as Ludvigsen comes to the plate.
That's right. That'll bring up the new first baseman for the Zap, Quinn Ludvigsen. Outfield moves back into their normal playing spots. 2 outs. Second and third for the Zap. Down in the dirt. Nice stop by Rather. Keeps Saito at third. Ludvigsen with a similar stance like Saito has in that left-handed batter's box. That one taken for a strike on the inside corner. Those hands, his left elbow as a left-handed hitter is his back elbow. And he doesn't let it leave his torso. He's got it pinned up right against that rib cage. Those hands right out in front of the Zap printed across his chest. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. Strike two. Zap just can't seem to catch up to that Hudson Hart fastball. 1-2 count. Hudson Hart with a long look at Curiel at second. Now delivers. Swing and a miss. Strike three. But an errant throw down to second base brings home Jake Daly and extends the lead, bringing in an insurance run for the Zap. It's 7-4. We head to the top of the 8th inning. Zap 6 outs away from getting a win here at home.
Thinking of travel? Pierre Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pierre Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pierre starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pierre.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey Zap baseball fans, it's Justin Cowart. If you're interested in a podcast that's sports and only sports, you need to check out Players Perspective. I have athletes and coaches from the South Dakota area and across the country, from the high school all the way up to the professional level. Come on and tell stories of their biggest and best moments of their athletic careers. If it's sports, you bet we cover it on Players Perspective Podcast, sponsored by Avera. You can find it wherever you find podcasts by searching DRG Media Group or on drgnews.com. Now, back to myself and Dylan Beach in the broadcast booth for some more Zap Baseball.
Thank you, Justin, for that beautiful setup. Go ahead and go listen to the podcast if you haven't. Might have me and Alex Sheets on an episode here in the future. They tried to go shoot one.
We sure will. We absolutely will.
Tried to get on. It just hasn't worked out quite yet, but it'll be a fun day to talk some Zap baseball.
Especially if they could come through with a big win here, leading 7-4 in the top of the 8th.
Hudson Ivy back out for his second inning of work in there for strike one, and what I've started to dub the Battle of the Hudsons. Hudson on the mound for both teams. Can't be that common of a name, but might have to do some research into that going into next inning. So that one misses for ball one, as it is the new first baseman, Seth Nelson, at the plate. Nelson, I believe, was the one that we were talking about making that good play earlier. I think he was in cargo shorts earlier. I think he got his pants on in the dugout to get ready for this game.
You know, that's a pretty wise move on a 93-degree day. It only takes a minute or two to throw the pants on. I wouldn't, if you don't know you're going to play, why kill yourself by wearing the pants all afternoon?
1-2 from Ivy. Swung on and missed. Sends him back to the dugout. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, he's listed as a DH, so I mean, even if you think you might play, I mean, when you're listed as a DH, you're typically just going to be coming out to hit, so you could just throw on the pants for an inning and then maybe take him back off for the shorts, but he gets out on first today, as that'll bring Peyton Fort to the plate.
Back in my Little League days, we were short a player. We just pulled a kid out of the stands and threw him out in right field.
What was that? I mean, how was he? You can't leave us hanging there.
I was letting you call the first pitch of the at-bat there.
Ball one there from Ivy.
I'll let you call this next one, and I'll keep everybody on the edge of their seats.
The offering misses again for ball two.
He was a good player. The only issue was we had to get him a practice jersey, and he didn't have any pants, so he played in right field in a swimsuit.
That's got to be a one-of-one story, as we'll get this one from Ivy. That one fouled off. He was taking a strike, protest until you finish that story a bit.
Well, he had to go out there in swim trunks. I think he was wearing an Atlanta Braves ball cap, and we were playing for the Cubs, so there was a little clashing there.
My team always did little league or minor league teams for the little kids. Is that one? Curiel sliding, can't keep it in the glove, was hit to left field. Curiel, as fast as he was trying to chase that one down, slid. It looked like he had it in the glove for a minute, but just kind of hopped out. Fort gets the one-out single.
And it was actually, the kid playing in right was a friend of mine named Chad Arnold, and he was wearing the swim trunks because after the game concluded, we were going up to the lake. So he was ready to do some swimming, just came to watch a ball game, and then got thrust into action.
As Ivy, one man on, misses for ball one, and kind of on topic, I did sell a kid a Gatorade who came to the ballpark extra early in his swim trunks earlier, so I'm betting he came from the pool, and I see a fan in the grandstand wearing swimming trunks. So a lot of guys coming from the pool on this scorcher in Pier, as Hudson Ivy gets that one in fast for strike one.
That sounds like a great summer day to me. Go over to the Pier public swimming pool, go down the water slide a couple times, then come watch a great Zap baseball game in the evening.
1-1, slap back the other way. Daly fielding it in right. We'll go station to station. Fort doing a good job staying out of the way of that. We saw a runner get hit by a ball in play in that series, but Fort not going to make that mistake. One away. Runners on first and second. We saw Hudson Ivy make his way out of a jam like this last time out.
This is where you got to be careful. You're leading by 3, but the tying run at the plate, and Isaac Martinez.
38 pitches for Hudson Ivy. 39 misses for ball 1. See if he can get back into this. Get out of this jam. So I thought we were going to have time called for a second by the field umpire. The 1-0 now from Ivy. Sidewinder sets and delivers in there for strike 1. I will say, Justin, when you started that story, I was thinking it was going to be kind of like the South Park episode where they called in Kyle's cousin Kyle, and he was not a very good baseball player. I thought that's where we were going to be headed, but
I'll give Chad his due credit. He played a pretty good game out there in right. It was a summer league, so there wasn't much talent out there to begin with.
1-1, both runners go. The hit and run will be successful. One will come in to score as they cut into this lead.
That's an unfortunate break for Hudson Ivy as Ty Farwell was in position originally to make that play, but that ball was slapped right where he was. Ty Farwell had to go over and cover third as the runner was heading for third, doing his job of covering the base, and he vacated the spot right where the ground ball came through. Could have definitely been one out, might have even been a double play ball had he been able to turn it, but turns into a run for the Squatch, and things are tightening up a little bit here.
And that's why you send the runners on the hit and run, as Martinez gets an easy RBI single on the out of position to Farwell. Hudson Ivy pick off to second, gets into the outfield. Nobody's running after it. Bazansky was close to it, but Saito and Phillips were having a foot race, and both runners will advance there. Feels like one that the runner should have been in at third, but you hate to let that guy get in from first to second and eliminate that double play ball, and the tying runner is now in scoring position.
I would have liked to see Hudson Ivy eat that one too. And now they're going to call the infield in, sensing a dangerous moment, and now they're just going to back right out. But seeing that Ivy turning around, knowing he's probably not going to get the out, just hold on to that ball. Keep runners at first and second.
Bazansky was just unable to keep that in his glove as Ivy gets ahead in the count 0-1. We got motion in the bullpen. I believe it's Jackson Cornett warming up. Has been closing the last couple of games for the Zap, as Hudson Ivy trying to make his way out of this jam with the lead. The 0-1. Swung on, fouled. 0-1 turns 0-2. Would be huge for Ivy to be able to get this strikeout. Eliminate the sac fly. But you've got some outfielders with good arms on them. So a shallow fly ball might not be the end of the world, but you would love to keep those runners put with the K. The 0-2. Runs way inside. Ducking out of the way of that one.
That almost caught him on the helmet.
Almost got him on the backside as he was ducking away. A impressive duck out of the way for Nick Work. As Ivy, the 1-2, trying to rein it back in. This is off the plate outside. Pair of teammates there at the plate and behind the plate. Nick Work and Mason Lang. We've mentioned Agadal a couple of times also. He's the tallest player in this series, but also goes to South Dakota State with Lang and Phillips. As that one hit to Phillips, sizing it up underneath it. The runner goes, but puts on the stop sign. Just what the doctor ordered from Hudson Ivy. Gives his catcher a fist bump. Gets the runner out, and everybody stays put.
That's a huge play there, and Andrew Phillips, knowing he's got a good arm, they wanted to keep that runner right there at third, not wanting to run into an out. And that's exactly right. Hudson Ivy absolutely needing a shallow fly ball. If he's going to get a ball hit, that's exactly the one that you would want. A shallow fly ball with a outfielder running towards the infield, carrying his momentum and creating a strong throw. You're now 1 out away from getting out of a monumental jam.
Rather to the plate. Swings and misses for strike 1. Rather, a hit and 3 walks here today, so very similar stat line to the pulled Aiden Johnson in this one. As Hudson Ivy tries to get this tough out here to make his way out of this jam with a 2-run lead. That one for strike 2. Didn't even need the appeal. Was called strike. And now 1 strike away, Hudson Ivy from getting out of this monumental jam and handing the ball over to Jackson Cornett. Sidewinder sets and deals. This is inside for ball 1.
Got some extra spectators flying around the ballpark here. Some birds making their way to Hyde Stadium. Flying all over the infield, out into the outfield.
Back for the summer. I'm sure it's a long winter migration for the birds of South Dakota. As Hudson Ivy, that one fouled off.
Nice play over there in the on-deck circle by Kyle Finn with the barehanded catch off the fencing.
Was in a very impressive catch. As we'll give him his flowers as Ivy gets ready for the 1-2. Seeing if he can make it out of this inning. Sets and fires, misses low. Count evened up at 2 apiece. Hudson Ivy, that was his 51st pitch of the ball game. Getting a very high pitch count for 2 innings of work, but just 2 2/3 inning of work so far. Just trying to make it out of this one as that one was fouled back.
There's a good at bat here for Carson Rather, just fouling away some really good pitches, staying alive. See if Ivy can just kind of climb back in here and get this final out.
2 strikes and 2 away. Doing exactly what you want at the plate. Hudson Ivy gets him swinging. A huge K there for Hudson Ivy. Points to the sky. And we'll be back here for the top of the 9th from Hyde Stadium.
Looking for happenings in Central South Dakota? The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce Community Calendar is your go-to for all the latest events. From entertainment to local benefits, community activities, and more, there's something for everyone. Email your event to contactchamber@pierre.org and it will be listed on the weekly calendar. To view the calendar, go to www.pierre.org. Let's celebrate together in the heart of South Dakota. The Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, connecting our community one event at a time.
Doing a little spring cleaning at your house? I'm Val Keller, City of Pierre's Solid Waste Manager, letting you know the City Supply Swap program can help. We'll recycle cleaning supplies, paint, and other household chemicals you don't want anymore. Plus, you're free to take any products other people dropped off for recycling. The swap program helps our customers and keeps things out of our landfill. Supplies we accept include stains and sealers, pesticides, pool chemicals, typical cleaning agents, as well as oil-based paint, latex paint, and spray paint. For additional information, call 605-773-7434. Again, that's 773-7434 for more information about recycling your household supplies and paint. Let the City of Pierre help you get your home and garage cleared out and cleaned up for the summer months.
This public service message is brought to you by the radio stations of the DRG Media Group in Pierre.
Back here at the top of the 9th at Hyde Stadium, the 3-4-5 due up for the Oahe
I wish
Zap.
it were the top of the 9th. We'd be 3 outs away from getting the win.
Why do I keep doing this, Justin?
I don't know. You got your mind on those pretzels right there.
I'm thinking about an Oahe Zap victory, and I've done that back-to-back innings. As the Zap are just 3 outs away, but they've got a 3-4-5 to work through before they have to worry about that. See if they can get some extra insurance runs for the closer, Jackson Cornett.
I think that would be outstanding. And that's why that throw down to second by Carson Rather in the bottom half of the 7th inning there to score Naruto Saito could come in so huge for the Zap. And leading 7-5 could have been 6-5 very easily.
So that one misses high and away to Farwell. And we've seen the Zap kind of fend off the Sasquatch attack with just one insurance run here or there to kind of keep this one at bay. It's at 2 runs where it's kind of sat most of this ball game, as he misses again for ball 2 to Farwell. As Hudson Hart comes back out again, there's action working in their bullpen. It's kind of hard to catch the number. Now we kind of see him turn his back as Farwell swings and misses for strike 1. As see how much further Hudson Hart goes, as he's looked good with that killer fastball. The Zap have been trying to catch up with it, and if they could, be an easy base hit, as Farwell behind on it again for strike 2.
So much life on that fastball from Hudson Hart. And it might be the type of thing where if the Zap could get through one time around the lineup, they'd be able to see it a little bit better. Of course, they're not really gifted that opportunity.
Farwell sends that one up the center. Shortstop makes the play. An impressive stretch there from the first baseman, Seth Nelson. Looked like he was going to be dragged off the bag by the shortstop's throw, but an impressive play from a guy who's wearing cargo shorts not 45 minutes ago.
That was a very nice stretch there by Seth Nelson, doing his best Freddie Freeman impression, almost going down to a split to keep his foot on the bag and get out to that throw. Nice play over there by Ben Foyer at short.
Gets the first out, as was a huge play there, as that one would have certainly advanced Farwell to second. That one skipping into the netting and then all the way back to the plate after it got done ricocheting around. Polizzi ahead in the count, 1-0. Hart sets, misses outside once again, and that one very well could have moved Farwell to third, so makes the play from Foyer and Seth Nelson that much more impressive, as the flag out right center field, blowing mightily here tonight. Wind's really picked up on this hot day, as that one misses for ball 3. Polizzi gonna most likely have the green light to try to go out and get this insurance run by himself if Hart leaves something over the plate. 3-0. Watches it in, just catches that inside portion of the plate for strike 1. Polizzi having a quick chat with home umpire Richard Gilmore. 3-1 now from Hart. Misses outside. Polizzi gets a free pass, and we'll get a one-out walk.
And I think that was Hudson Hart knowing the power that bat of Vince Polizzi possesses. And knowing that if he grooves one over the middle of the plate, Polizzi, a guy who can catch up to a fastball and really put a charge into one, could very easily leave the ballpark, especially with the wind now blowing out.
The wind blowing a lot here tonight, and with these short corners in Hyde Stadium, any ball has a chance to really get out, as Lang was thinking just that as he fouled that one off back towards Capitol Street. Fake car alarm there from the soundboard. Might have been could have been a real one. That was heading towards a few cars still parked out there. The 0-1 now to Lang. Misses high. Polizzi staying active over there at first base. Guy kind of like Aiden Johnson, probably not one you'd pick to steal a base, but can if called upon. The 1-1 popped up there by Lang. Shortstop Foyer calling everyone off. Makes the play for the second out of the inning. That'll bring Jake Daly to the plate. Last out for the Oahe Zap to put some insurance on the board for Jackson Cornett. Still have the bottom of the ninth if they need it. Cornett has been the closer here as of late. It's been kind of that teammate tandem of him and TJ Eikenberry, the Ellsworth Community College duo, kind of holding these games and closing them out as Daly swings on strike 1. Saw Hudson Ivy likely hand Jackson Cornett the ball here tonight. Ivy just giving up that one run, keeping this lead at 2 as Daly chops that one to the third baseman.
Not sure what's going on. I guess Are they calling that a foul ball? Are they saying it went off the foot or the plate? Gilmore and Turner are going to have a very interesting conversation here. The Sasquatch are leaving the field. They think that's out number 3.
I'm so confused because they had to have said something.
They're going to call him out.
Call him out. Daly never left the batter's box. He had to have heard something there. But in a weird string of events, we will finally actually go to the top of the 9th as we will turn things over to Jackson Cornett as he looks to get the save and hand the Oahe Zap a win in front of this home crowd.
The summer is here, and you know what that means. The Oahe Zap are back, and we at DRG Media Group are bringing you coverage of every Zap home game all summer long. You can hear all the home Zap games on River 92.7, or you can watch them live on drgnews.com at the River 92.7 station page. The Zap are offering you fans something new every single night. So get out to Hyde Stadium for some Zap baseball this summer. Purchase your tickets on oahezap.com or buy them at the box office. If you can't make it to the game, we've got you covered on River 92.7 Oahe Zap Baseball, brought to you by DRG Media Group.
Top of the 9th inning here at Hyde Stadium. Just what you wanted. The Zap with a 2-run, 7-5 lead. And it's Cornett on the mound to close things down for the Zap. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart, Dylan Beach, Eli Lewis up here in the broadcast booth here with 3 outs to go. Zap trying to get a massive win here to split this series at 1 win apiece. 4 games set between these two teams, and one of the most unique and utterly confusing plays that we've seen to end an inning in some time. Jake Daly bouncing one fair down the third base side. It was Nick Work who fired it over to first, and then we looked up, and Daly was still standing in the right-handed batter's box. I believe that he was telling Richard Gilmore after the play that that ball hit his foot, which would mean it would be a foul ball. Gilmore got together with Turner in the infield. They ruled he was out, and that was the end of the inning.
And it looked like that was originally what they had called because, Daly, just kind of baseball ideology, you always would run one of those out, but it was a strange play, and talk about power versus power here, Justin.
Cornett versus Kyle Finn. Cornett's going to have to go through the heart of this lineup. 3, 4, 5, Finn, Bowman, and Nopnoski. Cornett starts Finn off with a little chin music as that one breezes by the Sasquatch logo printed across Finn's chest. That'll be ball 1. And this one is far from over. This is a very tough 3 outs to get. Cornett trying to close it down, get the win for the Zap here tonight. We'll say the save. I believe the win would go to A.J. Ponciano, who had an outstanding start tonight as that one misses outside, ball 2.
Yeah, Ponciano is a guy who's looking for a new home in the fall. Certainly going to get some buzz after that one.
Drove up his stock after today's start, 2-0 pitch. That one just a bit outside for ball 3, and the last thing Cornett wants to do is put a leadoff batter on with a walk.
Thought he might have had a chance on getting that one, but quickly behind.
Here's the 3-0 pitch. Got to put one down the middle here, and he does just that. Ball pops out of the glove of Mason Lang, but it stands as a strike, and 3-1 is the count. A couple Zap players have made their way down onto the retaining wall, sitting up against the netting. Got to be on your P's and Q's, sitting right there with a right-handed batter and a fast pitcher. Keep your eyes out for a foul ball.
Nick Golden's leading the charge out there. He's not afraid to get hit.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung and grounded sharply down the third base line, but foul. Ty Farwell over to it. And yeah, I think those guys might be pretty well seasoned after all the pitches they've worn so far. What's a foul ball going to do to these guys? As fans have stuck around, they want to see a win here tonight. Cornett has worked the count back to 3-2. Finn waiting patiently. Cornett set, fires. That one grounded towards the second base side. Beautiful play. Throw to first is in time for the first out of the inning.
Caden Bazanski
with a gorgeous little piece of leather work over there. That ball kind of snow-coned on him. He got it. It popped out of the top, but he grabbed it with the right hand, fired to Ludwig's in at first. And that is a huge first out here in the top of the 9th inning.
If his glove was any smaller, I don't know if he keeps that one in there.
That one was hit with some speed, and now Mason Lang wants to have a chat with Cornett. As we've got a new hitter hitting for the DH, Jordan Bowman. This will be Lucas Torelli, and this is a dangerous hitter. Torelli went deep yesterday afternoon, and that insurance run, if he were to go deep here, I don't want to, I'm not even going to continue that thought. We've called a couple.
Just stop.
Well,
yeah.
we've called a couple and spoken some things into existence here. But Lang, knowing what he's going to deal with, and Torelli goes out and has a chat with Cornette. That one misses high for ball 1.
Cornette, lately when we've seen him, he's been getting those first pitch strikes, been behind on these last 2 batters.
Got 3-0 to Finn, came back and got him with the ground out, and now he fires a strike in for strike 1 to Torelli. Torelli doesn't look like he harnesses a lot of power at 5'11", 175, but boy does he ever. 1-1 count, 1 out, nobody on. Zap out in front, 7-5 here in the top of the 9th. That one going to miss a bit outside for ball 1. Mason Lang trying to calm down Cornette on the bump. It's one thing these Zap catchers do a great job of is just staying on the same page with their pitchers. Whether that be signals from behind the dish or a well-timed meeting out at the mound. That one way inside for ball 3.
It's really a kind of underrated aspect of the catcher. I mean, when you can kind of see your guy maybe drowning out there and give him a break, kind of calm him down, see if he can fight back in this one.
Well, it's much like a relationship between a quarterback and their center. It's kind of something that you can't really build with any other players. And 3-1 in the dirt, and he's lost Torelli. So now with 1 out, Squatch have a runner on first base. And that'll bring up another dangerous hitter in Sam Napnoski.
And now
we'll see if they want to get active over there with Torelli on first base.
Try to get out of that double play situation.
Double play would end the ball game. Naruto Saito playing square up the middle behind the second base bag over at shortstop. First pitch in there for strike 1.
There we go. Out in front. That's how Jackson Cornette wants to move. Now you can kind of throw in some different pitches, try to get him to chase.
Jackson Cornette hanging and just dangling that ball in the right hand. Comes set, quick peek over to first, fires over to first, and a nice play by Ludvigsen. Backsliding safely is Torelli.
Checked on Torelli. Now go back. Face that batter. Let Torelli know that you see him over there. You're not afraid to check again, but go to war against Napnoski at the plate.
Cornette set, peeking over at that first base runner over his right shoulder. As that one just missing low. Normally with a right-handed pitcher, you'll see him steal a peek over the left shoulder, but Cornette kind of defying that by going over the right shoulder. Taking his eyes completely off the hitter, Napnoski. Squatch have somebody warming up in the bullpen. They want to wait till tomorrow to see him. Couple more peeks. Now looks over the right shoulder and delivers. That one inside, and the count is 2-1.
Cornette was just missed on that second pitch. Would have been out ahead 0-2, but now he's going to have to fight to get it even back up.
2-1 count. Quick pitch inside, ball 3. And now Cornette wiping that right hand off on his right pant leg. Trying to keep that hand dry.
It's probably a red light here for Napnoski.
Well, it's a 3-1 count, hitter's count. This is a big pitch right here from Cornette. 3-1 delivered, misses him high, and that's another walk. So back-to-back walks have runners on first and second for the Squatch. And it looks like Quinn Ludvigsen's going to try to go over and calm down Jackson Cornette.
Quinn Ludvigsen, a vocal part of this infield is we're going to get a full-on mound visit.
Yeah, Jamie Habiger trotting out to talk with Cornette. Go through the basics here. Seth Nelson, the designated hitter who went out and made a nice play in the field at first base. Stretching all the way out, now going to step into the batter's box. And now Justice Scott wants to talk to both of his runners, so they'll have a meeting as Jamie Habiger is departing from the pitcher's mound. And you know what? Both the umpires saw everybody having a meeting. They want to talk it over too.
They want to get in on the fun. I mean, everyone else is doing it.
I think both of them want to discuss where they're going to head to after this ball game ends up to get a nice bite to eat. The only downside of Pier, there's two downsides that I've learned. One is the restaurants like to close around 9 o'clock, and at the 9:24 is the time reading right now on the clock. Most of those places are closed, so might be a McDonald's run for these two umpires. The other thing is the mosquitoes, which we saw Jake Daly having to deal with in right field earlier today. And all the meetings have come to an end. Seth Nelson will step into the left-handed batter's box. This is a huge at-bat. 1 out, runners on first and second for the Squatch. Top of the 9th. Zap protecting a 2-run lead. Cornette comes set. Check swing, called strike 1. Good fastball from Cornette there. Seth Nelson caught guessing, kind of in between. Had it been a ball out of the zone, I still think Seth Nelson would have been tagged with the check swing. Now Nelson may be dealing with some mosquitoes himself, has to lose the helmet, fix the hair a little bit, swat a few things away, and now he's back in with an 0-1 count. Cornette with a deep breath, takes a peek at second, now fires to home. That one catches the outside corner for strike 2. And now Seth Nelson going to walk way away from that left-handed batter's box, adjust the batting gloves, fix the hair.
Now's when you try to get him to chase, give you that ground ball to try to end this ball game.
Don't want to give him anything too good to hit here. 0-2, Seth Nelson choked up on the bat. Here's the pitch. That one misses high. Good waist pitch there by Jackson Cornette. Seth Nelson not offering. Seth Nelson, your stereotypical baseball player. He fixes the batting gloves and adjusts the helmet, changes the pants a little bit after each pitch. Kind of reminds us of when we went back before pitching clocks, when those games would drag 3.5, sometimes even 4 hours. We're at about 3.5 hours of game time here tonight. Here's the 1-2 from Cornette, make it 2-2. That one bounces across the plate, and now Seth Nelson patiently working himself back into this count. And boy, would the Zap love a ground ball double play opportunity here, as they have got one of the most dangerous hitters in the ILB lurking in the on-deck circle in Peyton Fort. Pickoff attempt to second. Cornette eats it, smartly so, as the last time they tried that, it scooted into center field. And the 5th run of the ball game got to third and would end up scoring for the Squatch.
Good call there from Cornette.
It was Hudson Ivey who threw that last one away. And now Cornette comes set. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. What a big pitch on a fastball from Jackson Cornette. Painted the bottom of the zone. And now some parting words for our home plate umpire from Seth Nelson as he makes his way back to the dugout. Richard Gilmore not taking a single look Seth Nelson's way. Not sure what Nelson was so upset about.
I don't think there was anything too controversial there.
I mean, it was a swing and a miss. I have to imagine he was barking about a strike call earlier in that at bat, but that brings up Peyton Fort, the go-ahead run into the left-handed batter's box.
He's leaving the ballpark to go put the cargo shorts back on.
Cornette versus Fort. Here's the first pitch. That one driven up the middle, right to Naruto Saito, who had him shaded perfectly, and that'll end the ball game. Great scouting by the Zap defensive coaching staff, and they get the win 7-5 here at Hyde Stadium. Split the series, a stark difference from yesterday. We'll recap all of it for you here in our post-game show. We'll be right back after this short break. Zap win it 7-5 here on a gorgeous Tuesday night at the ballpark.
Thinking of travel, Pier Regional Airport offers non-stop flights to Denver. Starting August 1st, book your destination at United.com. With United Mileage Plus, you can save more by earning miles when you fly from Pier Regional Airport. 1-hour flights to Denver and the world beyond. Avoid the crowds, avoid the drive, and enjoy free parking when you fly from Pier Regional Airport. United Airlines in Pier starting August 1st. Skip the drive. Fly from Pier.
We're good at making excuses for things we don't want to do.
I can't work late because my cat has a job interview.
Unfortunately, we're also good at making excuses for things we shouldn't do, like driving drunk.
There's Nothing on the back roads but cows.
The truth is, there's no good reason to drink and drive. Not even if you stick to the back roads. If you drink, don't drive. No excuses. Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
If you're interested in becoming a valued sponsor of an Oahe Zap broadcast, you can contact us for more information at sports@dakotaradiogroup.com or call us at 605-224-8686.
Hey, Zap,
Welcome back here to Hyde Stadium. What a win for the Zaps, 7-5, as Jackson Cornett gets the water cooler dumped on top of him. A nice little fun, whatever you want to call it there. I guess superstition or, tradition that the Zap can be doing as Jackson Cornett gets the save. A.J. Ponciano gets the win, 7-5. Zap are victorious, and they got some round of applause going in that team huddle over there in right field. What a win for the Zap, and it didn't come easy. But their offense gets it done. But I think it was great pitching today that really assisted the Zap in getting this win, Dylan.
Yeah, Ponciano really got things started off hot, and his by far longest outing of the year was shut down all night. And it was a great, great outing for A.J. Ponciano.
And we saw Hudson Ivy throw some fire in there as well. And, of course, Jackson Cornett getting the win as we pull up our box score here. It was a great day for Zap offense, and they did some with some really sharply hit baseballs. And, we saw as we go down towards it, Stalls started in the top of the first inning as the Spearfish Sasquatch got out in front 1-0, but the Zap tied it up in the bottom of the first as Vince Polizzi singled on a hard ground ball to right field, and that scored Aiden Johnson. Then later on in the bottom of the first inning, the Zap made it 3-1 with a Mason Lang double. Then to the top of the third, it was the Spearfish Sasquatch tying it up at 3 apiece as Carson Rather singles on a line drive to center field, scoring right to Andrew Phillips, and Nicholas Work got the score. Zap would regain the lead in the bottom of the fourth, making it 5-3 on a Vince Polizzi single on a fly ball to center field. Curiel scored, and we also saw Naruto Saito scoring in the bottom of the fourth as well. Bottom of the fifth, Zap made it 6-3 with a Cole Ottersberg steal, and Emiliano Curiel scored on a line drive to center field. That was Curiel who hit the single. Cole Ottersberg scored on that. Spearfish came back in the top of the sixth with a score to make it 6-4. Zap got some insurance in the bottom of the seventh inning as we saw some players get hit by pitches, but it was Jake Daly scoring on an error on the throw down to second base by Carson Rather. Top of the eighth, the Spearfish Sasquatch scored one more, but they couldn't do anything more than that. And then we saw Jackson Cornett come in the top of the ninth inning to get the win as they split this series 1 win apiece. Zap improved to 5-8 on the season. Sasquatch back to even at 500. They are 7-7 on the year. And Dylan, we get your final thoughts as we see another Gatorade bath going on down on the field. A couple guys getting in on the action and the fun here. Some of your final thoughts, Dylan, from this win here this afternoon.
Just a great, great win on a miserably hot day at the ballpark, and when you talk about morale, that's the type of win you need. You kept it the whole game, great pitching. Whenever you need those insurance runs, you delivered, and just a top-to-bottom great performance for this Oahe Zap team.
It sure was, and we hope for another win as the Zap look to take a series lead tomorrow in this 4-game set. First pitch tomorrow afternoon against the Sasquatch, set for 6:05 Central. We'll be going on the air right here on River 92.7 on drgnews.com and on the Oahe Zap Facebook page at 5:55. One final time, looking at the scoreboard, it is 7-5, and the Zap are victorious here at Hyde Stadium. Total game time just south of 3.5 hours, but what a fun 3.5 hours it was. For Eli Lewis, our producer, director, and engineer extraordinaire, for my partner in crime, Dylan Beach, I'm Justin Cowart saying so long, good night. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon with some more Zap baseball.
This broadcast of Oahe Zap Baseball was brought to you by DRG Media Group and its sponsors. The next home Zap game will be broadcast right here on River 92.7 and drgnews.com. Thanks for tuning in.